In a small room, the boys were getting ready for some business. The girl with blonde hair said that she had packed her things. The elephant-like entity said that if she was okay, she would go anywhere. The girl with brown hair said that she was ready anytime. The young man said that they would then go ahead to explore the dungeon. A while ago, a young man was talking about a huge mansion in town that costs about 3,000 yen a month. He wonders if there might be a ghost or something living there. The man with glasses laughed and told the boy to stop joking. There were no ghosts there. The boy said that it was true, and goblins and slugs were said to appear in the mansion. The boy was a little surprised. The man with glasses moved a piece of paper and told the boy to put his name and seal next to the check mark. The young man reads the papers carefully and thinks that this point seems a little dangerous. He thought about it as if he were a high school dropout with little income. He can't refuse such an offer. So the young man made a deal and bought himself a mansion. The house also turned out to be connected to the dungeon. Then he decided to think about it. At noon, a suspicious real estate agent came to the mansion and gave him the keys, and then he behaved strangely. After that, the carriers delivered the young man's things. Alone, he began to unpack the boxes and put everything in its place. When it got dark, he walked out the front door. There was endless darkness and a stone room and those alarming words of the realtor about goblins and slugs. The young man was very surprised to see a dungeon. The young man thought that it was probably a coincidence. However, it simply couldn't be. In any case, he didn't understand whether he would be able to return. If you think about it, this must be another part of his house. He closes the door to the dungeon and then goes to the kitchen and sits down at the table. He doesn't understand what he should do and whether he will be able to return to his world. Suddenly, the young man notices something, or rather the light from the street. He looks out the window and does not understand what is happening. He is surprised. He looks at the street and realizes that this is ordinary Japan, the streets of Takakawa in Tokyo. He goes back into the house and doesn't understand what's going on with this room. Maybe there's only one passage into the dungeon and it's further down where the boy came out. He doesn't understand what that means. The young man says that there is one drawback. He will have to enter and exit through a window, but he has a mansion for 3,000 yen a month. This clause in the contract may be a good thing. The young man thinks that it is like a waking dream. The young man decided that he was going to the store. After a while, a young man comes from the store and says he thinks that's enough. He takes out a hero kit, namely a helmet with a flashlight, and they were selling climbing equipment. He tried on the things. The young man put everything on and said that now he would go to the dungeon. He approaches the mysterious door and begins to listen. The young man understands that there is silence behind the door. One way or another, he does not think that they will pounce on him immediately when he opens the door. He goes inside the dungeon. With this flashlight, he can see better than with the flashlight on his phone. This place is huge and looks like a room. The protagonist is thinking about the fact that he will suddenly meet a goblin from the shadow of the pillar. Suddenly, he notices something. He goes around the corner and doesn't understand what's on the other side of the pillar. The young man thinks that there might be goblins there. Although, judging by the sounds, if there is a goblin there, then there's only one. If anything happens, he'll just run back. He decides to go deeper into the cave and starts sneaking. The young man goes behind the pole and sees some kind of moving object. He hides behind the column again and thinks about the goblin being right there and nearby. The young man realizes that the goblin looks exhausted. The boy looks out from the pole and begins to wonder if it really is a goblin. He sees the silhouette of a girl. Instead of a goblin, it looks more like a girl. Usually in games, this armor was worn by female knights. However, why is she not moving and crying? Maybe it's a trap, but if it's really a girl who can't move, he can't leave her alone. If he doesn't show courage now, when else will he get the chance? Even an ordinary village Japanese will do something when it comes to him. He thinks about how his grandmother always told him to help others. He looks around and realizes that there are no enemies nearby, and there is a strong metal door. The young man wonders what if the night girl is just a decoy. As soon as he gets close, the door will open and a crowd of goblins will run out. The young man picks up a pebble and throws it aside. He thinks that he must be careful. The pebble hits the girl's body. She starts to cringe in pain. The girl asks him to stop. The young man understands her speech and wonders if it is really Japanese. Although he does not fully understand the language, he can find out what she is talking about. He asks the girl if she is okay. The girl asks him not to come near. He wonders if the girl understands him. The young man says that he will come now. The girl shouts again for the young man not to come closer. The young man says that the girl cannot move now. The girl says she can move, but the young man understands that she cannot do this and says that he will help her now. The girl cowered and asked the young man to stop and not kill her. The young man was surprised, but then she continued and said that she was ready to clean, wash, and whatever it was, she would do it. The girl turned to Mr. Goblin and asked him not to kill her. The young man thought the girl thought he was a goblin. He looked at his helmet and realized that she would be blinded by his helmet flashlight. He decides to take it off and asks the girl to look. He shines a flashlight under his face and scares the girl with his grimace. She starts screaming. She closes her eyes, and then he faints. The young man realized what he had done to her, but on the other hand, he's glad she's still alive. He noticed something. The girl wet herself in surprise. Then the young man realized that if he left her here, it would be a shame for him. He takes her on his back and says they are leaving. The young man also understands that the girl is very heavy, and all her thighs are wet, and this feeling is very disgusting. He also notices her shield and realizes he won't be able to carry it, so he decides to leave it here. If they get to his room, it will be easier for the girl to recover. They enter the house and the young man realizes that he has not yet assembled the bed, so he decides to lay the girl on the floor in the Japanese room. He put it down. He sits down next to her and says that if he takes off her armor and wet clothes, it will be considered a very bad act towards the girl. He looks at her face and realizes that she is very sweet and so graceful, like a very high-quality doll. The boy yawns and says that now that they are safe, he feels sleepy. A lot has happened today. But he can't leave the girl and go to bed. Suddenly, in his sleep, he hears someone's voice calling him and calling him Mr. Wise Man. The young man opens his eyes. Someone asks him if he is awake. The boy thinks it is a Japanese-themed room in his new house. He must have fallen asleep while unpacking and dreamed it all. He entered the dungeon and saved the girl. He also strokes something and thinks about whether he had such a nice pillow. So nice and warm, and also it is a very pleasant feeling. Suddenly he shudders and screams that it is not a pillow, but a girl. He apologizes to her and says that he just dozed off. The girl smiles and replies that she knows. She says that the hero slept so soundly that she did not wake him up, although she should have apologized. Besides, it is very cozy here. Even the great master is calm here. The boy asks if she really called him a great master, and that is better than a goblin. The girl apologizes and says that she did not see his face and he speaks the language of monsters, so she was rude to mistake him for a goblin. The boy asks about the language of monsters and the girl agrees and then asks him what language he is speaking now. The young man realized that Japanese was the language of the monsters in the dungeon world, so he was mistaken for a goblin. He said that he did not look much like a great sage. The girl asked if the young man really was not a great sage. He lived in the far part of the dungeon and everything looked strange there. She thought that the young man was a great sage living alone. And this endless sofa is just a great thing. She would like to stay here forever. And these excellent dolls, she thought they were magical devices. The young man understands that this is his personal box, which he unpacked. The girl asks the young man again if he really is not a great master. Then the boy replies that he is a great master, and these dolls are of course his magical tools and they are definitely not strange. The girl replies that, to be honest, she thought that the boy was evil and would use black magic against people. So she was a little worried because half of the dolls are naked. The young man smiles and says that everything is fine because he is a great sage and then asks the girl how she feels. The girl replies that she was under the influence of anesthetic and therefore could not move, but now the effect is slowly wearing off, but if the young man had not saved her, but trouble would have happened to her. She calls the young man a savior and then asks him to let her thank the savior and says that she will do whatever he wants. The young man was very surprised. The girl said that even though she looks like this, she is a knight, so she needs to match her appearance. The young man thought about the fact that the girl allowed him to choose whatever he wanted. He thinks that she said everything that was in her head. Maybe do what he's wanted for a long time. Taru doesn't understand what he's thinking and grandma would be disappointed. The young man thanks the girl for her attitude but asks her to just forget about it. The girl refuses and says that as a former knight she cannot forget it and will remember it for the rest of her days. Toru thought that he was glad to hear that, but was it right for a former knight to promise that? He said that they didn't even know each other's names yet. The girl apologizes and says that she completely forgot about it. She smiles and says that her name is Arya Eldorakis, but the boy can just call her Rhea. Toru says the girl's name again, then adds that it's hard to pronounce her name. The girl repeats it and says that then he can just call her Rhea. Toru thinks that even though she asks him to, it will be difficult for him to call such a beauty by her name. The girl asks if she can learn the noble name of the great sage. The young man is surprised and asks if she is really talking about him. He himself thinks that in comparison with Eldorakis, the name of the great sage Suzuki will look strange. He says that his name is Toru. Rhea is happy and says that it is a wonderful name. Toru thought that he did not call himself that because he is embarrassed that a girl will call him by his name, although he lied and really wants her to call him by his name. He realizes that he feels sorry for himself. Rhea says that for Mr. Toru, who found such a wonderful artifact and became a great sage, the boy looks quite young. Toru asks about the artifact. Then he realizes that the girl is talking about those things that often appear in various games and novels. They are considered magical items and are often created by mages. Rhea must be mediocre in science skill, although she is from a world that is a dungeon. He thinks that anyone who comes from that world to this room will definitely consider her an artifact. However, this whole dialogue is not about the artifact at all, but about why he is so young and already a sage and lives in this place. Toru does not understand how to settle this issue and says that it would be wrong to talk as if all sages are old men. Rhea asks about the palace, and Toru replies that he was a court magician at the age of 6. But then he left the castle and became engrossed in his hobbies and forgot all about magic. That's why he is a great sage and is only 21 years old. Rhea says that the young man is really young and there is only a 3-year difference between them. Toru thinks that Rhea is very cute and beautiful, but he would not say that she is younger than 24. The boy asks if she is really 18 and the girl agrees. He thinks about how she's only 18 and he's even happier that he saved her. Then Toru decides to ask the girl if she was really lying down because of the monster's anesthetics. The girl's face sank and she agreed. She said it was okay to be attacked by monsters, but to think she was conscious and it was so dark and she couldn't move. The girl cringes and says that it was very scary. Toru understands that she was scared and it is not surprising that she wet herself because she could not move freely and was lying very uncomfortably. The young man offered the girl a hot bath. Rhea responded with surprise, wondering if there really was a bath in the dungeon. The young man replied that everything was fine. He still wanted to offer her a bath as soon as she could walk. To think that the first person to use this bath would be a girl, he smiles and thanks the dungeon. He returns to the girl and thinks that all the negative effects have passed and she can move around freely. The young man says that he is already drawing a hot bath, so he asks her to wait a little. However, he notices her on her knees. The young man screamed and asked what this pose was for. The girl said that she was deeply sorry. The boy said that he would let her use his bathroom, so she did something indecent. The boy realized that she had just realized it. He said that it was okay. The girl couldn't use the toilet when she wanted, so it shocked him too, but there was no choice and he didn't blame her. The girl was surprised and began to examine the young man's clothes. She panicked and said that she was all wet. Toru agreed and said that it happened while he was carrying her on his back. Rhea was shocked because she did it in front of the great sage. Toru said that sometimes it happens. Rhea interrupted him and said that it was impossible. Toru thought that the girl was right and usually no one wets the sages. Rhea started crying and said that she couldn't become a bride. Toru paused, then said that if that was the case, then he would have to marry the girl. Rhea was surprised. She asked about what the great sage had just said and whether it was true. Toru thought that he should be more careful when throwing around such phrases. He apologizes to her. Suddenly, Rhea says if it was really a joke. She says menacingly that although the great sage couldn't joke like that, and then asks him if he was joking. Toru realizes that this smile is more frightening than the first trip to the dungeon. The girl says that it's time for her to go to the bath and then asks where she is. Toru offers her his hand and says that she has something to teach her. The girl agrees and thanks the young man. The young man said that before going to the bathroom, this room is usually a hallway and here you take off your shoes. The girl apologized and said that she did not know. He also said that maybe it would be easier for her to take off her shoes if she took off the armor. Rhea agreed. The girl then turned to Toru and said that she still couldn't fully feel her hands. She asks him if he could help her with the straps on her back. Toru agrees. He thinks that he is only helping to remove the armor, but his heart is pounding like crazy. Then they take off their armor and go to the bathroom. Rhea is surprised and says that there really is a bath in the dungeon. She asks Toru what happened to his room where he lives. Toru says that it is not a dungeon but just an apartment. The girl is surprised. Toru said that it was a bathtub and the girl just climbed into it and that's it. The girl agreed and said that they were in rich people's houses or palaces. Toru realized that bathrooms exist in rich people's houses. He then asks the girl what about a shower. Rhea says that they don't have one and apologizes. Toru said that everything is fine and it is natural that she does not know about it because it is one of the artifacts created by the great sage. The girl is happy. Toru says that it's very simple. The girl needs to turn the valve and hot water will flow. She can adjust the temperature by turning the valve to the right or left so she will set the temperature for herself. Then he notices the girl's reaction and realizes that she has some kind of weak reaction, as if this is not the first time she has seen a shower. Suddenly Rhea is happy and says that this is really hot water, but she doesn't understand how this is even possible because there is no fire here. Toru says it's water and fire magic. Rhea says it's some kind of suspicious invention. However, it is simply magnificent. She has heard of many artifacts that are made by different sages for battles, but this bath is wonderful. She can't wait to try it. Toru thought that Rhea seemed to like baths and that there was a little childishness in her behavior, but that was because she was too honest. He also tells the girl not to rush and shows her a bottle and then asks her if she knows what it is. The girl replies that it is some kind of slimy substance that she has never seen before. Toru replies that the girl needs to press and soap will squeeze out. She can wash her body with it and her hair will become soft and silky after washing. The girl is surprised and asks if she can really use this. Toru agrees. He squeezes the liquid onto her hands and she is delighted that it is some form of liquid soap. Rhea adds that it lathers so well and smells so nice and then realizes that it smells like flowers. Toru agrees and says that he will be in the living room. The girl can leave her dirty clothes somewhere here and he will find her a change of clothes. Rhea agrees. After a while, the young man looks through the boxes of things and thinks about what to give Rhea. He realizes that a t-shirt and sweatpants will probably do, and then he thinks about underwear. The boy then wonders what if he tells her that he only has t-shirts. He understands that this is very bad and he does not want to make his grandmother cry. The young man goes to the bathroom and tells Rhea that he has brought a change of clothes. He asks the girl if she does not mind that he goes into the changing room. The girl agrees. Toru heard the melody and thought that the girl seemed to be enjoying the bath very much. He is standing at the door. He says he'll leave the things nearby and then hears Rhea thank him for what he does for her. Toru leaves and thinks that if he stays here a little longer, he will definitely become a dark magician. Suddenly he hears a girl scream. He asks the girl what happened. The girl continues to scream. He doesn't understand what's going on there and whether there could be goblins there, but he thought the house was safe. The young man bursts into the room. He is doused with water from the shower. He realizes that the shower is completely out of control. He realized that the girl turned the tap to maximum and then in a panic turned it to minimum temperature and out of fear she let go of the shower. Toru turns off the water. He says that if you turn the tap to maximum, the water will be hot, so the girl should turn the water slowly and carefully, and the most optimal temperature will be somewhere in the middle. He looks at the frightened girl. He screamed. The young man is embarrassed and says that it happened by accident and he only wanted to help. Toru is about to leave. Suddenly Rhea hugs him from behind. He froze. She says she was very scared. Toru realized that this girl had just recently almost met her death in a dungeon where monsters could attack at any time. Now she was surrounded by objects she had never seen before and in a place she had never been. He understood why she was afraid and why she felt helpless. Toru asks Rhea if she is okay. Rhea apologizes to the boy and says that she is still a little scared. After some time, the girl continued to wash herself and asked Toru outside the door if he was there. The young man said that he was still there. The young man thought that he had promised Rhea, who had just stopped crying, that he would be with her, and only the door separated them while they chatted about everything under the sun. He goes into the dungeon again. After some time, the young man goes into the dungeon again. He looks around and says that it seems there are no monsters here. He wants to move forward. He opens the status window. Suddenly, Suzuki Toru's status window appears. The The young man is very happy that his status actually appeared. He understands that it is all as Rhea said. He understood a lot of things from their conversation they had while they were taking a bath. The dungeon connected to this room was called the Underworld, which was the ruins of the ancient underground city, and that means the monsters here will be extremely dangerous. The sleeping pill that was given to Rhea was made by a special subgroup of goblins who specialized in using darts. Rhea said that she is a knight, but her agility status is also quite high. However, there are some slimes that run away instantly and are impossible to catch. However, there are rumors that they give a lot of experience points. The boy screamed and asked the girl what she said. Rhea got scared and asked if it was possible that she said something strange. The young man thought that he was very interested in these quickly running slimes. However, before that, he told Rhea that he, as a great sage, has a special way to look at his status. But how do ordinary people look at their statuses? The girl was surprised and asked if there were other ways to find out the status. The young man replied that there was one way, but in any case, he asked the girl to tell him about the method she uses. Rhea says that when she thinks about it, the number should pop up in her head, because this is the divine providence that God gives to each of his creations. The girl then realized that her status wasn't showing up. Toru said that there was a spell on this room that restricted checking her status. He thought that the girl would be able to do it when they returned to the dungeon. Rhea said she was glad. Toru thought that it was probably true that this room worked according to the logic and rules of this world, and he was sure that if he went to the dungeon, he would be able to find out his status. He thinks that he can even recognize his skills or belongings, and isn't that cool? The boy asks about the metal door that was behind her when the girl passed out. He asks if the monsters will come out if it is opened. Rhea apologizes and says that she closed that door while running from the monsters right before she collapsed from the sleeping pills. Toru thought that it was as he had expected, and that was why there were no monsters there. Toru said that he had left her shield in the dungeon while he was carrying her, so he was going to go back for it right now. Rhea responded and said that she should have taken it right away, since she didn't want to burden the great sage with it. The young man replied that everything was fine and asked the girl to use the bathroom for now for her own pleasure. And here the young man is, in the dungeon. Of course, his main goal is to check his status. There is also no need to shout while doing this. However, he does not look too strong, although the young man believes that this may only be the case at the very beginning. What is important now is his development. Looking at it, rather than the usual numbers, he is more concerned about the skill no max level limit. He thinks that he has a mana level, which means he has magic. The young man understands that this is all he knows now. Now he needs to find Rhea's shield. He carefully moves towards the shield and thinks that the chance of monsters being there is low, so there is still a chance. The young man thinks that, for example, he can hide under this shield. He raises his shield and sees an evil slime there. Toru gets scared and realizes that he is really there. He starts hitting the slime to make it disappear. Suddenly, his body is covered in an aura. The young man grabs the shield and runs out of the room. Toru decides to check the status. Then he runs into the room and thinks he is going to die. Toru tries to catch his breath and says that he did it. He killed the slime and his level even went up. The Japanese guy who killed the monster and leveled up. His strength must have also increased, and should he check it out? The boy turns to Rhea and says that he will return and asks her if she is really still in the bathroom. Rhea greeted the boy and asked if she could use the bathroom for a little while longer. The young man agreed and said that she could use it as much as she wanted. He decides to take advantage of this chance and take the dynamometer. The young man squeezes it and realizes that he was able to squeeze 44 kilograms. Until now, no matter how hard he tried, he had only managed 40 kilograms. He realizes that it is real, and one attribute point gives him an additional 4 kilograms of strength. So if he reaches level 10, his strength will be equal to 80 kilograms. He decides to level up and crush the apple with his hands. Suddenly, Rhea appeared and told the young man that the clothes he gave were indeed very comfortable, but they looked strange on a person like him. The young man was surprised and then said that this hairstyle looks very good on the girl. Rhea was embarrassed and asked the boy if this was really the case. She said that her hair was messed up when she fell into the dungeon, but usually she looks like this so as not to get in the way. Thanks to the soap that Toru invented, her hair is soft and silky. The swing is also very wonderful. Toru thought that he wanted to smell that hair too. Then the girl asked if Toru would really use the bath. Rhea said she would wait in the room where she slept. She asked if she could read the grimoire of the great sage while she waited. The young man was surprised and wondered if he had such things in his Japanese-style room. He thought there were only manga and a few thin books. Then Toru gets scared and screams. The girl asks the boy what happened. He asks her to stay in the room. The girl agrees. The young man suddenly began to put the books in a box and hide them. He then opens the door and tells Rhea that he needs to tell the girl something. They sit down at the table and the young man says that there is something that will bring great danger if the amateur reads it. He also says that they are forbidden and that they are forbidden grimoires. Rhea was surprised and asked if they were really forbidden grimoires. Rhea was scared and asked what she had done. Toru replied that everything was fine and the girl did not know about them. However, she should never touch them and it did not matter where he put them. The girl agreed. Toru thought he was glad that Rhea was so honest and it was better for both of them. Rhea asked if she could ask a question. Toru thought it probably wasn't something like that, but why were there girls on the covers? It's a bit late to say this now, but the water in the bathtub, and is it really okay to use so much? Isn't it a precious resource? The young man agreed and said that everything was fine and the water was extracted from an underground spring. He thinks that it's a lie, but practically it's true. Rhea said that it was water and could she drink just one glass. The young man realized that drinking water was a very valuable resource in the dungeon. Rhea didn't have anything with her, she must be really thirsty. Rhea asked if it was really impossible. Toru said it was definitely okay. He gets up from the table and says that instead of regular water, he will offer her something tasty. He opens the refrigerator and gives the girl a choice. She asks what it is. He gives her some drinks and asks the girl if she knows anything about water and milk. Toru says that it is red tea and maybe the girl does not know anything about it. Rhea agrees and says that it is a super luxurious item. Toru replied that he understood everything and the girl probably doesn't know about the steak either. The girl agrees. The girl looks at the carbonated drink and asks the boy if he is going to drink it too. Toru says that if the girl is not going to drink it, she should just leave it there. He also says that he will go and take a bath. The girl answers if everything will be okay, to give her so many precious drinks. The boy says that everything is fine and he should just tell him his thoughts later. After some time, the young man is in the bathroom where Rhea was. After some time, he comes out of the bathroom and says that he has refreshed himself. Toru thinks that so much has happened that he forgot to eat dinner. He says that Rhea also seems hungry, so he should do something. Then he notices Rhea. The boy told the girl that she could keep the drink if she didn't like it. The girl replied that she would drink it all and that she wasn't a child who couldn't take her medicine. He also said that the cola tasted a bit like medicine. Rhea asked if it really wasn't medicine. When he drank it, the remaining numbness in her arms and legs instantly disappeared. The young man said that it was nothing to worry about and that cola was medicine. Rhea said that the great sage's artifact is truly excellent. However, it is a sleeping pill, requiring a medium level of dispelling technique to fully heal. Toru thought that maybe cola is a panacea in another world. They think that there might be other products that have special abilities like this one. He asks the girl what kind of food adventurers usually eat in the dungeon. Rhea says dry bread like a rock and some crumbly pieces of snow-white fish marinated in salt. She is grateful for any food she can find in the dungeon, but it doesn't taste that good, so she soaks them in soup to make them soft. That's how they become edible. Toru realized that the girl was having a hard time. Rhea said that, if you think about it, it really is a nice smell. She asked the boy what he was doing. Toru said he was making dinner and asked if Rhea would be there. Although he looks like that, cooking is his forte. He works in the kitchen of a family restaurant. Rhea asked if it was okay to use his precious food rations in the dungeon and even drinks. Toru told the girl not to be impolite. If she didn't eat, she wouldn't feel well. He had already started preparing 2 portions of food and he couldn't eat in front of a hungry person. Then the girl asked Toru to wait a minute. She stood up and ran to the side. Then the girl comes out and tells Toru that it is embarrassing, but that is all she has. She gives the boy some coins from the bag. She says that she understands that it is not enough to repay him, but she asks the boy to accept it. The boy realized that these are gold and silver coins. Toru said that the girl should not pay for it. Rhea replied that she could not accept it. Toru thought that in the worst case, he could not accept money from a needy girl. She needs to find a good reason. Toru says that he is a great sage, so he lacks money, but he hid in a dungeon far underground. He asks the girl to tell him what's going on up there. Ria says she definitely doesn't mind, but it's an unfair deal. Toru asks if the girl could help him create artifacts. He thinks she could help him with something, it's not an artifact. Ria said that if everything is okay, she will help. She says that it is awkward, but she is a little attached to money. Toru laughed and said that this way it will be beneficial for both of them. Ria thanked Toru. After a while, dinner was ready. Ria was surprised and asked if the young man had finished, even though these were such intricate dishes. They smell very nice and look very tasty. Toru thought that it was just a premium hamburger steak and rice cooked in a microwave with some personal touches and a salad that he made. He was also very hungry, so he made something very quickly this time. Suddenly, the girl's stomach began to rumble. The young man laughed and asked her to start eating. The girl asked how they could eat it. Toru said that the girl could cut the cutlet with a knife and put it in her mouth. He says that the girl can cut out the fried egg that is on top. He says that the girl should let the yolk and sauce mix together and then eat it. Toru says that it is very delicious. Ria says that she wants to try it too. She tries it and says it's delicious. It's the first time she's had such delicious food. Toru says the girl is exaggerating because she's hungry. Ria said it was true, and even when she lived in the house, she never ate anything like that. Toru added that he was very pleased that the girl liked his cooking. As he thought, instead of eating alone, eating with someone makes the food taste better. After a while, the dishes have been washed. The boy brings tea and asks the girl if she can tell him about the events on the surface. Ria agrees and then asks Toru what he has unsealed. The boy replies that after the meal there are desserts or tea cakes. The girl tries the dessert and says it's delicious. She feels like her body has become so light. The girl asks if it's really another artifact with special effects like cola. Although she didn't think that the effect would last long, even when she ate food now, it seemed that her health level and mana level were rising. The youth realized that this really was like a game. Ria said that although she can't check her status here, but the food Toru cooked is indeed an artifact. The youth laughed and thought that he would confirm it in the dungeon later. With that, he wants to check so many things and he wants to buy something before going to bed. He asks Ria if they can go out for a while. The girl is surprised and asks if they are really going outside. Toru realized that if he thought about it, they were in a dungeon, so it was no wonder she was shocked. However, it is strange that Ria was in the Japanese room. He wonders if she noticed anything outside the window. Suddenly, Toru stands up and asks Ria to come with him. The girl does not understand what happened. The young man opens the door and asks the girl what she thinks about it. The girl says that she deliberately made a window in the wall of the dungeon and Toru is quite fashionable. To attach the glass here, the young man must have wanted to see the wall of the dungeon. Toru was surprised and did not understand what was happening and whether Ria really only saw a wall from the window. He looks out and says that, as he thought, this is Japan. Suddenly, the boy disappears into the wall and Ria shouts that it is wonderful, and it is magic that allows one to pass through walls. After some time, the young man says that he returned, but he could not take Ria with him, so he went to the store alone. The girl greets Toru, and the boy wonders if the girl is really still in the bathroom. He looks into the bathtub and asks the girl what else she is doing. The girl says that she decided to do the laundry. The boy realizes that the girl is washing her clothes. Toru says that he thinks that this is normal for people from her world. The girl asks about what the girl said. Toru says that he doesn't say anything like that and then asks her what she washes with. The girl says that she washes with body soap and she shouldn't do that. Toru says that everything is fine, but actually he has a special artifact for washing. The girl apologizes to the boy. The boy asked her not to worry. Ria then asks the boy if he has anything that can dry things. The boy agrees. The boy then gives the girl a dryer and tells her to use it. Ria asks if there could be something wrong. Toru is embarrassed and says that it is his underwear. The girl says that she noticed the underwear in the basket and thought that it definitely belongs to Toru. She asks if it is possible that they did not need to be washed. The young man is embarrassed and thinks that these are his words, but she still washed them by hand. The young man says that they also needed to be washed. She thanks the girl. The girl agrees and smiles. Then, when the laundry was hung up, Ria turns to the boy and asks if he has any cloth and olive oil. The boy agrees and then asks why she needs it. The girl says it is for the care of the armor. After a while, he gives the girl a rag and oil. Rhea thanks the young man. Rhea is going to take care of her armor. Toru thought that he wanted to ask her to help her assemble the bed, but still, he would not interfere with the girl and would do everything himself. The young man goes into the room and is about to make a bed. Toru says that although it says here that you need to assemble with 2 or more people, he hopes that he can somehow manage alone. Then the young man says that it is more difficult than he thought. Rhea asks if he really assembles furniture, and yet Rhea helps the boy assemble the bed. The girl is happy and says that this bed is just wonderful. It is so strong and looks very comfortable. The boy says that he thinks it is time to rest. Then Toru says that the girl will sleep on the bed. Rhea is surprised and asks the boy what about him. The boy says that he will sleep on the floor, but Rhea says that this is not possible and that she will sleep on the floor. Toru replies that Rhea is very tired and should sleep on the bed. In the end, he tried to insist, but Rhea's stubbornness won out, so he sleeps on the bed. Toru says that he will turn off the magic that maintains the light. Suddenly, he notices the girl's confused face and asks what's wrong. Rhea wishes the young man good night. He reciprocates. Late at night, the young man realizes that he cannot sleep, and it is probably because he gave Rhea his pillow. Suddenly, the young man notices Rhea at the door, holding a pillow. She asks the young man if he needs a pillow. The young man gets scared, and the girl says that she doesn't need the pillow. Toru notices the girl shaking hands. Toru says that the mattress is comfortable and you can sleep better on it. He offers the girl to sleep in the same bed. Rhea nods positively. So they go to bed together. The girl continued to tremble, but Toru took her hand. Rhea squeezed the young man's hand. Rhea told the boy that his hand was very warm and not scary. Toru said that he was very pleased. Rhea thanked the young man, and then they fell asleep together. The next morning, Toru wakes up to Rhea calling him. The girl bids the boy good night, and he barely opens his eyes. Toru shudders and starts screaming. Rhea is also scared and asks the boy what happened. Toru looks at the girl and realizes that he slept in the same bed with Rhea that night. He even got scared because he was never popular with girls. Toru apologizes and says that as a great sage, he has trauma from the wars. Rhea says that she understands and then asks the boy if he is okay. Toru says that he is okay. He remembers that a lot happened yesterday. His door is a passage to the dungeon, and he also checked his statues and fought the slime again, defeated him, and moved to the next level. Moreover, a beautiful knight from another world is in his house. He has not yet figured out what to do with all this, but at the same time he feels very good. The young man asks the girl if she will have breakfast. Rhea agrees. After waking up and having breakfast together, they began to sort and unpack his things. The young man said that he felt bad because the girl was helping him when she didn't want to. The girl said that it was her responsibility. Toru asks what about the half-dragons that live in the craters of volcanoes and asks if they are still alive. There is something he wants to ask Rhea about the half-gods, half-humans that are always in fantasy worlds like elves and dwarves. Rhea asks about the half-dragons and says that they do not appear among humans, so she does not even know about them. Toru then asks about other friendly creatures close to humans that the girl knows. Rhea talks about elves and half-cats that can be quite nice to others if they appear in the forest. The boy realizes that elves and half-cats really exist. The girl said that she found something about elves. Toru is surprised. Rhea says it's rare to see an elf fight a monster with tentacles. She asks if she can take a look. The young man suddenly takes the book. He runs away and comes back. He says that it was dangerous and it was one of the forbidden grimoires. He thinks about how close it was. He doesn't understand what other treasures are scattered and mixed up in these boxes. He asks Rhea if they can take a break. The girl agrees. After some time, she drinks cola. The young man says that the girl seems to like the cola. She agrees and says that once you try it, you can't get over the sweet taste. The young man asks her to enjoy herself and then says that there are quite a lot of monsters in the dungeon and asks about what dangerous types of slimes exist there. The girl asks about slugs and says that there are purple poisonous slugs that contain a potent toxin in their body and dirty yellow acidic slugs that spit out a corrosive substance. She adds and says that it seems like they are all dangerous species, but she is sure that Toru knows more. The boy says that he has not fought monsters lately. He thinks about the time he came across a green slime. After talking about the creatures of their other world, they continued sorting things. Suddenly, Rhea finds something and Toru starts to panic again. The girl shows him the magazines and says that these are very cute clothes. The young man says he saw it in the store yesterday and bought the cosplay. The girl asks if this could also be a dangerous artifact. The young man thinks that the girl is mistaken because he thought that since food adds characteristics in the dungeon, then the same thing will happen with clothes. And Rhea can wear a sports cosplay with a bathing suit until her underwear dries. The girl says that she has never seen such clothes and could these also be artifacts. The young man says that sometimes he dresses like this and if the girl likes it, she can take it all. Rhea is very happy and asks if she can wear it right now. Toru is surprised that Rhea is going to put it on right now. The girl says that she ran to the locker room. Toru couldn't believe that this whole situation was real. After a while, Rhea comes out and asks the young man how he likes the clothes and if they suit him. The young man is silent. He thinks about how these tight shorts highlight the shapes and volumes and how these curvy hips are so noticeable. He also thinks that he wants to lie on the girl's lap, like on a pillow. Rhea hears his thoughts, which greatly embarrasses the young man. The girl says that her underwear will dry, but it is not as beautiful as these clothes. When it got dark, they finished packing and they also had lunch and a break. He asks the girl what she is going to do. He asks the girl if she really can't go back now. Rhea agrees and says that she was in the dungeon with her comrades, but they got separated and she lost her sword. She's afraid to go back alone. Toru thought that he had assumed that. Even if she doesn't realize it, he thinks that what happened to her in the dungeon has affected her greatly. Rhea says that she was hoping that she could go with the other adventurers who are exploring the dungeon. However, she asks the young man that as long as she is here, will she not be a burden for him? Toru says that it is not a problem and after all, he is a great sage, and if the girl wants, she can stay here forever. The girl says that she is grateful, but she needs to go back. She then asks if she can come and see Toru again. The young man agrees and says that the girl can return at any time. The girl then asks if she can use the bath. Toru agrees. The boy then says that while Rhea is in the bath, he will go to the dungeon. The young man thinks that there are no monsters to be seen here, and he is not even worried that goblins might appear. Rhea said that monsters usually shouldn't appear unexpectedly, but he doesn't understand why that slime appeared even though he checked the entire room. Slugs can grow as big as a fingernail, or they can reach such a size that attacking a person will not be a problem for them. Small slugs run away to hide and grow to the required size there. To confirm his guess about the special effects of food in this world, he brought some bulk food that he would try here. He understands that food from this world has an effect to increase individual statuses and increases characteristics by 50%. There is food that does not give anything, but this food can give effects from the previous food eaten, or even restore health. He decides to take a look at his current stats. Then he decides to see what effect the stats increase with the power measurement device. He is happy because it turned out to be 64 kilograms according to the calculations. As he thought, the indicators work in real life too. He wants to become stronger, so he tries to find some slugs. Suddenly he notices a small slug. The young man realizes that it is so small that even if he kills it, the experience will be worth nothing. He thinks that he will wait until it grows up and then kill it, although if he does everything right, the slug can reproduce. You can raise monsters and then easily get high levels. Later, when he gets home, he decides to pour water and put some leftover food in it. He also decides to make holes for air. He realizes that the slug is white. Purple and dirty yellow are dangerous, so it's even better that it's white. The boy looks at the container and says that this slug is so cute and he can find another slug better. He doesn't know what Rhea will think if she sees this. She was on the verge of death in the dungeon and she is still afraid of monsters. Suddenly, he hears a girl coming out of the bath. He understands that he needs to hide the slime as quickly as possible. He decides to hide it in a box of manga. He puts it here because it is safer here and he forbade the girl to touch this box. He asks the slime to sit here and read the forbidden grimoires. A girl comes into the room and asks Toru what happened. Toru replies that it's nothing special. The girl says that if anything happens, the bath is free and the young man can go. Toru thanks the girl. He's lying in the bathtub. The young man says that to tell the truth, it might be dangerous to keep something from another world here, and if Rhea sees it, it won't be very good. He decides to take this slime back to the dungeon. The young man takes out a container. He realizes that the lid is ajar, and didn't he close it? The girl calls the boy and asks the boy where he is going. Toru says that he is going to the dungeon and will be back soon. After some time, he comes to the dungeon and leaves the slug. The young man tells him that the slug needs to come back here. He will bring him tasty food and a bigger house, so he asks him to enjoy it. Then the boy comes back. The girl asks him what he was doing there. The boy replies that he was doing nothing and asks her if she knows anything about white slugs. The girl replies that she heard that they are an endangered species. The boy is surprised. Rhea adds that it is a rare non-aggressive type of monster, but no one has seen one for the last 20 years. The young man understands that the slug is very rare. He understands that since it does not attack people, it must be brought back. The young man tells Rhea that he needs to go underground again for a while. The girl asks him to be careful. Then the young man comes to the dungeon and notices an open box there. He realizes that the white slime is not there, and then he sees some kind of figure. He sees a figurine of Kakunmuro. He says that this figurine is so soft and smooth that he really enjoys touching it. He doesn't understand what it's doing in the dungeon, and maybe it got caught on his clothes and fell here, but he doesn't remember if he bought such a figurine before. The young man puts the figurine in his pocket and says that nothing comes to his mind. Then he realizes that he can't see any trace of the white slug. He finds another one and says that it's not as cute as the white one, but he has no choice. He wonders if he can even hold it, and then it bites his finger. Toru says that this slime bit his finger. He says that it is not cute at all. He puts it in a container and says that the slime is not cute at all and will stay in the container until it grows up. After a while, the young man says he's back. Rhea greets him and says he was there longer this time. The young man replies that he was too busy studying the forbidden grimoires. He takes out the figurine and realizes that it is good, and it doesn't even matter what it is made of. Finding the slug took much longer than he expected, so tomorrow he'll see what he can do. He leaves the room and tells Rhea it's time to sleep. That night the young man again cannot sleep. He realizes that Rhea is still afraid to sleep alone, so they sleep together again, and it's great. However, today she is wearing sports shorts and she is touching him with her legs. Even if he knew, he would have given her other clothes. Suddenly he realizes that he still can't sleep. He opens his eyes and sees a silhouette above him. Toru asks Rhea if she is really awake too. However, he turns around and sees Rhea next to him. He doesn't understand why Rhea became two. Toru was scared and didn't understand. Rhea was sleeping peacefully next to him, and Rhea was also standing in front of him. But she's kind of small. The boy doesn't know if he's dreaming or not. Suddenly, the little version of Rhea starts talking to Tor and says that he must be the master. The boy asks the copy of Rhea who she is. The copy of Rhea replies that isn't she similar. She also says that everything should be the same under the clothes. Toru becomes embarrassed and starts screaming. Suddenly, he notices something moving from Rhea's side and grabs the slug. The girl wakes up Toru and asks if something could have happened. The boy apologizes and hides the slug. He says that he is a great sage and he remembered the times when he had to deal with the 5th magical catastrophe. The girl said that to think that such things happened. Rhea goes to bed and says that it is hard, but she is with them, so the young man should be calm. Then Rhea sang until she fell asleep. Then Rhea fell asleep and the young man got out of bed. He thought that she had found herself in the kingdom of Morpheus very quickly. The young man stood up and left the room. He puts out his hand and there is a slug sitting there. He asks if it could be that this is all because he doesn't like the master. The young man asked her to put on shorts, and then he looked closer and said whether what he thought was possible. Slime says it's not bad slime. Slime then starts to cry. Toru asks him to wait and not to cry, then asks if he is a white slime. Slime agrees. Toru asks why he transformed into Rhea with shorts like that. Slime says that according to the boy, he liked it and he transformed like that for the boy. Toru asks if the slime really means him by master. The slime agrees and the boy tells him why he thinks Toru is his master. The slime says it's because Toru is the first human the slime has ever seen. Toru says that it's not because he gave food or they made a contract or anything like that. The slime gives a negative answer and says that the gentleman likes the girl. The boy asks if this is really true, and he thinks that when the slime says something like that in the form of Mini-Rhea, the slime says that he feels warm just from the thought of the master, and he will do everything the boy asks. Toru thought it was cute, but on the other hand, it was also bad because Mini-Rhea was actually a slime. Then the boy asks the slime if it is a girl. The slime asks the boy if he wants to know its gender. Slimes do not differentiate between boys and girls as such. The boy says that this is also true. The slime says that it's okay, then says that it will tickle a little but asks the boy to be patient, then crawls into his pants. The boy screams because the slime is crawling up his leg. That one crawls. Toru then asks the slug what it was. The slug apologizes and says he just needed it for a quick scan. Toru asks about the scan. The slime then took the form of Rhea and told the boy to look. Then she took off her shorts again. Toru turned away and told her to stop it. He saw that the slime had become hermaphrodite. Toru screamed. At that moment, Rhea ran into the room and shouted about what had happened. Toru apologizes and says that he is a great sage and he had a nightmare where he tried to prevent the explosion of a magic reactor. He didn't even understand how he ended up here. Rhea said that everything would be fine and she would sleep with him. Then they went back to sleep and Rhea fell asleep first. A few minutes later, the boy left the bedroom again. The slime apologized to Toru and said that she just wanted to show that slimes do not have a gender identity. Toru asked her to choose one gender. The girl said that she understood and would follow all the master's orders. She could also grow bigger if she was given human food so she could fulfill all the master's wishes. She said some interesting things. Toru said that he didn't need that and then asked why the slime was so interested in following his orders. The slime replied that it was because it was a white variety of slime. Toru asked what that meant. Slime said that initially the tribe of white slimes lived side by side with people. They turned into a person that their master loved. Taking care of someone is the life motto of the white slimes. On the other hand, their ability to transform into someone and give their owners care and love allowed bad people to take advantage of it. Some people exploited the white slimes. Then they decided to go underground to places where no one lives. But she believes that not all people are bad, so she left her friends and went on a journey. Toru realized that the first person she met was him. The slime agreed and said that the fact that she met Toru makes her happy. Toru thinks that only he is a person from another world. However, the ability to turn into anything as he grows is very interesting. He tells the slime that he will give it some food and it, in turn, will help him. The girl asks if this is related to naughty things. Toru is embarrassed and then asks what food she would like to try. Rhea says that all human food is delicious and adults say that it is healthy. Toru realizes that they are sharing information about people between themselves. Toru says that he will cook something then. The slime thanks the young man. After a while, he made a slime salad. She was happy, standing with a huge fork and said that it was very tasty. Then Toru asked the girl what she usually ate. The slime replied that it had been eating moss from the dungeon and monster corpses, but there wasn't much to eat there. Toru replied that this explained why the slime found it tasty. The slime agreed. He then watches as the slime tries to wield a giant fork. Toru says that it is hard for her to eat this way, she might turn back into a slime. Slime says that she heard that she might get scolded for not being in the form that the master wants. Toru says that he won't be angry, so the slime can be in any form it likes. The slime turns into its original form and thanks the boy. Then the slime starts eating the lettuce leaves. Toru understands how they eat now. Then he asks the slime what its name is. Slime can't answer this question, so Toru asks her if she minds if he gives her a name. Slime is surprised and Toru says it's just more convenient. Slime says it's like the old days when they were friends with humans. She heard that many of them were given names. Toru thinks about it and asks what about Shizuku since the slime is so round and transparent. Slime says that it's a very cute name and she likes it. Toru is happy and says that they will call her Shizuka from now on. Toru then tells Shizuka that she has grown. Shizuka says that the boy is right and she has never heard that they can grow so much by eating human food. Toru thinks that this food has a special effect. He thinks that maybe it has an even greater effect on slugs. Since the girl has grown, she can be human-sized. The boy is surprised. Shizuka says that she will do it by increasing the air inside her and filling the space with water. That should work. Toru suggests that she go to the bath. After a while, he pours water and says that the water is ready. Shizuka says that she is going to transform. The next moment, Shizuka became bigger. She said that this body is a bit heavy, but she can hold on to this form. Toru asked if her body is really heavy. The girl said that there is water inside her and it should be better if she grows bigger. Toru asked the girl if she still wants to eat. The girl agreed and said that the master's food was delicious and she would eat everything. Toru agreed and said that he would do something. After a while, the hearty bukkake noodles were ready. And then more pizza, and a bun with milk. The girl was very happy. Shizuka then asked what kind of help the master wanted from her. Toru said that it was because he worked part-time at a small family restaurant. Shizuka asked about a family restaurant. Toru was surprised that the girl knew what a part-time job was. The young man said that he works in a restaurant. Shizuka said that she knows about restaurants and she heard it from adults when they talked about the human world. Toru replied that while he was at work, the girl should transform into him and be with Ria and they could do something. Shizuka replied that she understood and Shizuku would do her best. Toru realizes that he is afraid to leave Ria alone and he is starting to get nervous. Shizuku said that she will start to transform. Suddenly she hugs Toru. She asks the young man to let her look at his body. This time she will do everything perfectly and asks the girl to be calm. The boy said it was a thing, and Shizuku asked the boy to be gentle. After a while, Toru said that it was very ticklish, and Shizuku asked him to be more patient. After a while, she finished scanning the master's body. The boy said that in the future, Shizuku should warn before doing something like that. Shizuku apologized to the boy. Then she said that she was transforming, and after a while there was a copy of him in front of the boy. Toru said that it looked completely different than just looking at yourself in the mirror and somehow it was all wrong. Shizuka started telling the boy that he was very cool. Toru thanked her and told her to stay with Ria while he was at work and let him act like a great sage. Shizuka agreed. Shizuka said that it would hurt her that the boy would be the only one working and she and Ria would do nothing and maybe she should work too. Toru said that it was an interesting offer but forcing her to do his work was wrong. Shizuka said that the boy fed her and the ingredients for human food cost money. The boy agreed and Shizuka replied that she had no money but she would at least like to pay the boy back. The boy asked if his job would be difficult for Shizuka. The girl replied that she thought she could handle it. The girl asked if she could take the ingredients. The boy agreed. Then Shizuka started to quickly cook something. She said she used plain bread to make an authentic bread pizza. Toru was surprised that Shizuka had prepared one of the dishes he had made recently, and it looked exactly the same. He tasted it and said it tasted great. Shizuka was happy and said that she did a full scan. She also copied the memories and she can also copy the behavior pattern. Toru thought that Shizuku copied his mannerisms perfectly and quickly. He didn't know if the dungeon would disappear when he went to work. If it was possible, he wanted to switch places once or twice. A young man asks Shizuku if he would like to let a girl look at his work. Shizuku agrees. The boy said that she no longer fits in his pocket. The girl asked if she could use Ria's appearance. The boy said that at work only staff are allowed in. Shizuku replied that it was okay as long as no one saw her. She could transform into clothes, so she offered the boy to wear them. It will turn into clothes and the only thing the boy will need is to put it on. Only he will need to undress completely. Toru understood and said that it sounded interesting. Then the young man undresses, and he thinks that being naked in front of others is even very embarrassing. Shizuku apologizes and begins to wrap herself around Toru's body. The next moment, she turned into clothes. Toru said that it really looked like real clothes, no matter what it was in front of him. He felt some kind of viscosity all over his body. Suddenly, Shizuka grabbed the boy. She said that he was very sorry and that part of the body looked attractive. He asked to stop. Then the young man felt cramped and asked the girl to give him more space. Then they went out into the city. The girl said that she had heard from friends, but the outside world was really different. She also told the boy that he was indeed from another world. Toru said that he would explain everything to her later, but now he asked her to remember the main part. He points to the car and says it's like a horse. They get to another place on it, but the speed is completely different. If it hits you, you can die, so you have to be careful. The girl said she'd seen it in a book before. Then she said that there was no one around. Toru replied that it was midnight. He also added that they were on a pedestrian path and there was a part for cars. He also pointed to a traffic light. Then they reached the place of work and said that now he will go where he planned, so Shizuka should not do anything like that. Shizuka agreed. They were met by a girl who greeted Suzuki. The young man apologized for having to ask for time off so suddenly, but he would start from tomorrow. The girl said it was no problem. Then the girl asked what about the house and if there were any ghosts there. The young man said that no ghosts had come out yet. He thought that the night girl and the slug had appeared. The girl then asked the boy what had made him come there in the middle of the night. The boy said that his work shift was tomorrow, but he wanted to clean out his locker. The girl called him diligent and said that she had never seen a young man so eager to work. Toru replied that he had always enjoyed working there. The girl added that he was an excellent cook. Then the young man asked who was in the kitchen today. The girl replied that originally it was supposed to be Segawa, but he had an urgent meeting, so the manager was working. The young man decides to say hello to the manager. He goes into the kitchen and greets the man. He asks Toru if he can go out later today. The young man agrees and says that he just happens to have a work shift. The manager replied that it was a relief. He had heard that the young man had moved to a hellish place. There had even been a rumor that the young man would not be able to come here again. Toru laughed and said that it was no wonder that the young man had heard about it. The boy then said that he wouldn't be able to teach Shizuku anything in front of the manager. He turns to the manager and thanks him for letting the boy leave so suddenly and then asks him if he can work for a while. He also adds that the man can rest for a while. The man replies that he would be ashamed since it was the boy's off-duty shift. Toru replies that everything is fine and that he also wanted to prepare for tomorrow, but first he would change his clothes. In the locker room, the boy shows Shizuku his work uniform. The girl asks if she needs to change into such clothes. He agrees. Soon, Toru's clothes take on the form of a cook's work uniform. Toru goes out and tells the manager that he can take a rest. The man thanks him and says that he will accept his offer and come in 30 minutes. Toru thinks that the manager is a timid person, so everything will be fine as long as he is in his work uniform. The young man tells Shizuku that he will teach her how to do everything according to the menu, and there is a detailed instruction on the wall. He asks Shizuku what she thinks. The girl replies that she remembered everything. Suddenly, a girl ran into the kitchen and said that a group of teenagers had arrived. Toru thought that this was not just a group of teenagers, but nasty hooligans. They like to act tough, order a lot of people, and then cause trouble. The boy asks where the manager is. The girl replies that he is usually outside, but he is not there. She asks the boy if she can rely on him. Toru says that it's not like he planned to work today and for free, but since he offered, he should help. Shizuka asks the boy to let her do it. The girl asks the master to simply watch her. Toru realizes that his body is moving on its own and that Shizuka is controlling it. Then the girl starts cooking and Toru thinks that it's just impossible. The dishes were cooked perfectly. The boy is surprised and says that the girl really remembered everything. He tells Shizuku that it was a great job and the girl thanks him. Toru realizes that if this is how things went, he can leave everything to her. After some time, they finally returned at 5 o'clock in the morning. The young man says that to think that he still has to go there at 8, he won't be able to sleep well. Shizuku suggests that Toru stay there with Ria while she goes to work. The boy says that he can't do that, he has to be the one who works. Shizuku then asks if she can sleep with them. Toru agrees and asks Shizuku just not to wake Ria up, as she shouldn't see her. Shizuka lies down between Toru and Ria. She says that the master's bed is very warm. This is how they fall asleep. The next morning, Toru's alarm clock rings and he wakes up. The young man realizes that it is 10 o'clock in the morning. Even though today he has a shift from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., he is sure that he set his alarm for 7 a.m. Then he realizes that he had to receive the message that Shizuku sent him. Toru realizes that she went to work to replace him at work. The young man goes into the kitchen, where Ria was already. The girl asked the boy how he was feeling. The boy did not understand what the girl was talking about. Ria replied that this morning when the boy woke up, he did not go to bed because he did not feel well. The boy thought that Shizuka was copying him. The boy says he's fine and then asks Ria if she had breakfast. The girl replies that she ate the sandwich the boy made. Toru agrees with her and thinks Shizuka is adorable. Toru then says that he needs to go to a meeting of the sages, so he uses travel magic. The girl wishes him a good trip. After some time, a young man in a hat, glasses, and a mask comes to his work. Tateshi meets him and asks with fear if the young man needs a table for one. Toru realizes that Tateshi is working today. Although she is a cool and calm, pretty high school girl, she is confused by his appearance. And not without reason. If he had come as usual, there would have been 2 of him. He asks for a table for one. The girl shows him in. The young man understands that she has seated him at the farthest table and that it is even better for him. He orders a set of different types of meat. The young man looks around the restaurant and sees that there are no obvious concerns. The menu looks good and the customers are happy. Shizuku must be doing well. The girl brings a set of different types of meat. The boy thinks that Shizuku cooked it perfectly and even looks pretty. The boy tastes it and presses the button to call the staff. Tateshi approaches the young man and asks what is wrong. The young man asks to call the chef. Tateshi is embarrassed. Toru realizes that, as he suspected, it's written all over her face what he's talking about, and this is just a regular family restaurant. He says that he needs to do this. He stands up and shouts that it is so delicious that he wants to personally thank the chef. The girl says she will call him right away. Toru thinks that a person who asks to call the chef of a family restaurant will be discussed for a long time. After a while, Shizuka comes to the table and thanks the customer for waiting. She recognizes her master and begins to get nervous. Toru said that the dish was very delicious, and then he got up from the table and said that he would wait for Shizuku in the restroom. She hesitated. In the toilet. After a while, the boy starts yelling at Shizuku about what she's doing. Shizuku apologizes and says that everyone will understand if they get out of here. Toru says that it's no problem and he'll do the rest of the work today. Shizuku asks if it will be a big problem for the master. The boy says that it won't be a problem because she did it for him. He offers her to exchange anyway. He will come out first and the girl will come out later after she has changed her clothes and she can finish the meat. After that, the girl should go home immediately and make lunch for Rhea, who is waiting at home. He's counting on the girl. After some time, the young man goes home and says that he is very tired. For some reason, he feels like the attitude towards him at work has improved. Even the usually cold Tateshi was nice to him. He thinks it's because of Shizuka. He approaches the house and realizes that if he enters the house now, there will be two of him there. He comes home and steps on something soft. The young man screams. Rhea comes and asks him where he was hiding. He is very good at tucks. The young man starts laughing nervously. Toru realizes that Shizuka seems to have suggested a game of hide and seek to Rhea so that they could easily switch. The girl says that it is her turn to hide. Toru apologizes and asks her if they can't take a break because he's really tired. The girl agrees and says that she'll fix her armor then. The young man sits down. Shizuka approaches him and apologizes to the boy for doing such a thing without telling him. The boy replies that everything is fine now. He will now ask Shizuku for help when he really needs it. He then asks the girl why she did that. Shizuka says that she heard from her friends that they should do everything for the people, and she also ate a lot of the master's food. The boy thinks that many white slimes don't believe in people anymore, but only Shizuka trusts him. Toru says that he will do his job himself and the girl will help him with what he can't do. He strokes her. Shizuka says that it would be great if the master became the master of others. Toru laughs and asks how he would take care of everyone then. Later that night, Shizuka slipped back into bed after everyone had fallen asleep. At 2 o'clock in the morning, the hero wakes up. He gets up from his bed and is about to leave, when suddenly Shizuka calls out to him and asks the young man where he is going. The young man is surprised. Then he says that he needs to raise his level in the dungeon. Shizuka asks the boy to be careful there. After some time, the young man comes to the dungeon and sees a huge number of evil and dangerous slugs there. He does not understand what happened here at all. Toru realized that he had left the blue slime in the box earlier and had it really managed to multiply to such an extent. The young man already wants to leave, but he understands that he wanted to raise the level, and the situation is developing in the best possible way. He moves on. After some time, the young man wipes the sweat from his face and says that he was finally able to sort things out with everyone. He is shocked and realizes that he can't earn any more experience if there is nothing left. After the slugs multiplied here, his level increased after killing them. He eats the food and realizes that his health level has been restored. Toru also sees that his stats are gradually increasing, but he wants his level to rise even more. When he reaches the turn, the young man realizes that, as he thought, there are no more of them left. He wants to find another little slug, and then notices the iron door. Toru remembers that Rhea closed this iron door because she was being chased by monsters. Like his room, as long as it is closed, the dungeon is safe. Adventurers usually go to such places. Toru says that he needs to open the door, but will there be more monsters? He realizes that this could be dangerous, so he decides to take a look first. The young man opens the door and does not understand what it means. Behind the door, there is a stone wall. He doesn't understand why she's here. He's sure that's where Rhea was headed, but he doesn't think she lied. Rhea also said that a stone wall was preventing her from leaving his room, if he remembers correctly. The young man hears some knocking. He realizes that these are monsters. Suddenly someone shouted. A sorceress girl appeared from the wall. She pushed the boy and fell. Toru opens his eyes and thinks that this girl is a magician. He also looks at her and sees a sinister black hat and black robe with a wooden staff. She is definitely a mage. Suddenly the girl screamed and told the boy to close the door quickly because the giant centipede was approaching. The boy turned the handle and started to close the door. He thought about the giant centipede chasing the girl and he didn't know if he would be able to close the door in time. Suddenly, the centipede slipped through the door. The guy got scared. Toru realizes that she is huge and he cannot defeat her. At this time, the door closes and presses the centipede's body. Toru realizes that she is stuck. He says that now they need to crush her. The magician shouts that the boy will not be able to kill her, so he tells him to move away and she uses magic. The girl uses Inferno and sends a pillar of flame at the centipede. She lights up and starts screaming. Toru thinks this magic is just amazing. The centipede falls and stops showing signs of life. Toru turns around and sees the girl unconscious. He approaches her and asks if she is okay. Suddenly, the girl opens her eyes and screams at the boy to be careful because there is danger behind him. There was a centipede. She attacks Toru, who screams and hits her with a pickaxe. The centipede falls and Toru levels up. He was surprised by this. He hopes that the centipede is now dead. He realizes that it doesn't matter now. He approaches the girl and asks her if she's okay and if she hurt herself. The girl says that she's okay a little bit and then adds that the centipede was poisonous. Toru is surprised. He thought that the poison caused paralysis. The girl added that it led to a slow death from which one could save oneself with the help of healing magic, but she did not think that in this situation it was possible. The girl was breathing heavily and said that just thinking about how she would die in such a place and how terrible the end would be. Toru decides to open his backpack and give her some cola. He remembers that cola cured Rhea of her paralysis, so he thinks it will help the mage too. He hopes that it will neutralize the deadly poison. He asks the girl to drink cola. Then he realizes she doesn't have the strength to even take a sip. He scoops the cola into his mouth. And then he gives it to the girl and thinks that this is the only way out. The girl starts coughing. She is surprised that her body has healed. The young man says that it is a panacea, so he offers her to drink more. He is not sure that cola is the same as panacea in their world. However, he said it confidently so as not to be suspicious. The girl started drinking more and said that this black water really cured the poison. She says that the water is sweet and also tingles. This medicine has a strange taste, and besides, she has never tried anything fast-acting. The young man said that he was pleased to hear that, but the girl was still weak. He had a safe place for her to rest. The girl looked at the young man suspiciously. The girl said that if the young man was going to do something to her, he should do it quickly. He was surprised. The girl said that he must be a criminal to live in such a remote place, not to mention his strange clothes. She doesn't have any jewelry and all she has is herself. She asks if that's really why he helped her. Toru is surprised. He told the girl that she was wrong. He had helped her before, but he swears that he did it to save the girl. He also says that it was the first time and already imagines how he will justify himself to Rhea. He does not even understand why he is apologizing to her because she is not here. He says that, in any case, there was a misunderstanding. The girl asked if he really wouldn't treat her badly. She doesn't believe that someone can wear strange clothes and live in a dungeon without a good reason. She asks the boy who he is. Toru panics and says that he is a hermit who decided to live here to get away from the busy life outside the dungeon. The girl sighs and then extends her hand to the boy. Toru doesn't understand what it is and asks if they are really going to shake hands now. The girl asks if he wants to take her to a safe place. She is not yet strong enough, so she asks the boy if he could hold her hand. Toru picks the girl up. After a while, she apologizes. He was embarrassed. She apologizes for blaming him since he did save her life. Toru replies that it's okay and it's okay to help someone in trouble. The girl smiles and tells the boy that he is really kind. All she could think about was how to escape from the centipede. Toru replies that he is completely sure, but they are almost to a safe place so the girl can relax. He also says that the safe place is here, behind the strange door. The girl sees a wall and says that there is nothing here except it. Toru is surprised and asks her how this is possible. He opens the door. He asks the girl if she can still see the door. The girl replies that nothing has changed. Toru is surprised and thinks that he passed through the passage when he carried Ria to his room, and what happened then. The girl began to panic and asked the young man if he would really do something to her. She demands that he let her go immediately. Toru silently began to rush forward. The girl was surprised, and then she shrank and closed her eyes. Together they passed through the wall. The girl opened her eyes and was surprised that they had come to an unknown place. Toru realized that, as he expected, all people except him only saw the wall. As long as he was in physical contact with others, they would be able to pass through the wall. So, the back of the iron door and the windows could be used as an entrance. Suddenly, Shizuku appears and greets the owner. The girl was surprised that there was a white slug here. Shizuku agrees and says that she is a white slug. Toru tells Shizuku that the guest is a mage and that she is currently feeling ill due to the poison, so she asks Shizuku to take off her shoes. The girl agrees and pulls off the magician's boots. The girl says she took off her shoes. The boy thanks Shizuku and then they go into the room. After a while, the young man asks the girl how she is feeling. The girl replies that she is fine but just very surprised. Just think that such a strange room exists in the dungeon and even a rare white slug here. She looks at the boy and asks if he is really a great sage. She then says that she is really interested in the boy now. She smirks and then starts to take off her clothes. The girl takes off her robe. Toru thinks that he wanted to tell her in the dungeon, but her clothes are a little revealing. Then she takes off her hat and elven ears appear from under her hair. Toru asks the girl if she is really an elf. The girl says that she is a high elf and asks him if he really just noticed. Toru says that this is his first time seeing a high elf. The girl is surprised and says that it is amazing that he is meeting an elf for the first time. Then she says that men love them. The girl hugs Toru and says that she is not the kind of elves who likes to be in debt. But now she can't give the young man anything, and she's still interested in him. That is why she can offer herself in gratitude, but only in gratitude. Toru asked her to stop and said that Shizuku was peeping. Shizuku was embarrassed and asked if they really wanted to be alone. If so, she would blend into the floor so they could ignore her. Toru looked at the girl's curves and thought that although Ria's were also big when he saw her in the bath, these were too big. He also remembered that Ria was sleeping in the next room. The next moment, a sleepy Ria entered the room and asked Toru what happened, and he woke up at such a time. Silence fell in the room. Toru told the girl that it was not what she thought. Suddenly, Ria screamed and asked if the girl was really the lonely sorceress Dato. The sorceress asked if it was really the omnipresent knight Arya. Toru was surprised. After some time, Ria, Toru and Dato were sitting at the same table. Everyone was silent. Toru asked the girls if they really knew each other. Ria said they did, but Dato said they were strangers. Ria replied that she always invited the girl to her group. Dato replied that she always refused. The girl always picks on little things and gets in the way. Right now, she had a great atmosphere and the girl interfered. The girl said that since Dato reminded her, what she did with Toru was something indecent. Dato asked something indecent and asked Ria what she wanted to say. What she did was normal for humans. Then she asks the girl if she hadn't had anything with the boy. She asks Ria if she is jealous and that makes her horrible. Ria asks the girl to stop. Toru realized that they were obviously not on good terms. Toru turned to the girls and asked them to calm down. He also told Dato that she was hurt and it would be better if the girl went to bed. And he and Ria will go to the living room. Ria said that it was a good idea, but Dato added that it was a bad idea. It was not nice to let the sage sleep in the least comfortable place of his own home, and then asked Arya how she dared to call herself a knight. She added that it was obvious that they should sleep in the living room. After a while, Toru was lying in his bed and thinking that this was the first time he had slept alone since he moved into this house. He explored the dungeon after moving here, then a night girl came to live with him and now there's a sorceress here. The thing is, they're both beautiful and in normal life he wouldn't even dare to look at them, but they respect him as a great sage. He doesn't even believe it. He's not even a sage or anything. Then he turns over and sees Dato there. The young man shudders and gets scared. He asks the girl why she is in his room, because she should have been sleeping with Ria in the living room. Dato said that Ria had just fallen asleep. She was surprised at how quickly the girl fell asleep, just like a child. However, she asks Toru about what he said, that he is not a great sage. The young man realized that he said it out loud. Toru replied that he was not a great sage and that it was just a lie. The girl asked him why he was apologizing. The boy replied that he had deceived the girl. Dato said that she didn't care whether Toru was a great sage or not. It wouldn't change the fact that the boy saved her life. That's why she thinks the boy will be glad to see her. Toru asked what the girl meant. Dato said that the boy shared his secret with her, so now it was her turn. She said the truth is that she's never done something. Toru was surprised and said about the girl's clothes. Dato replied that it was normal and nothing could be done. Elves live long and their desire is quite low. Then the girl asks the boy just not to tell Arya. The boy agreed and the girl told him to call her Dato and she will call her Toru. The girl then turned to Tor and said that this room was full of things that even she, a high elf, did not know about. She asked what kind of room this was. Toru said that this room is connected to another world. Dato replied that this was not a magical room or a phantom world, not even a royal residence. She did not even believe that another world existed. She found it unbelievable. The young man says that he didn't even believe that another world existed before. Dato told Toru that it was a little confusing. She asked Toru why he spoke the language of monsters. When she met him, the boy looked suspicious. Toru answered that this language was spoken in his country. It seemed that for their world, it really was the language of monsters. Dato answered that it was some kind of coincidence. Toru thought it was so strange. He didn't understand how Japanese became the language of monsters in another world. He said that Rhea had said so and then asked the girl how she could speak the language of monsters. Dato replied that goblins and orcs, technically every monster that has intelligence, communicate in a fight. For this reason, understanding their language is an advantage. Many adventurers who encounter such monsters seek out people who understand their language, but this does not mean that they can read or write their language fluently. Toru asked how they could understand each other. The language used by Dato and Rhea is different from his. Their language exists only in their world. He always heard their voices in his head when they spoke. Dato replied that it was the language of understanding. Toru asked what the language of understanding meant. Dato said that it was the ability to translate the speech of others through telepathy. It makes it easier to talk to other people in different countries or even worlds. It is still important. Toru realizes that this is really convenient. Then Dato turns to Toru. Toru thought that the girl was going to continue what she had started. Dato began to beam and say that she wanted to see the boy's world. The young man then changes Dato's clothes and takes her out through the wall. Dato says that it seems to be true that she can only pass if she holds on to the boy. Then Toru asks the girl to put on a hat and hide her ears completely. There are no elves in this world and it would be a bit problematic if the girl was found out. Dato pulls his hat down. Then the young man asked her not to speak so loudly because telepathy was not used here. Then they go out and the girl is surprised and says that this is Toru's world, Japan. She said it was just wonderful. Suddenly a car drove past her. The girl got scared and screamed. Toru realized that this was bad and they ran to the side. Toru said that didn't he mention that you shouldn't talk so loudly? Dato asked what it was and that it was so scary. Toru thought that even at this time there were still a lot of people. As expected from a popular store, they decided to just take a walk. Dato turns to Toru and asks if all these bright things are really for sale. The young man agrees. She says that her eyes hurt for some reason. They decide to rest until the girl's eyes adjust. Dato is preserved. Then Toru notices something. He told Dato to wait and he decided to step away and placed an order. He asked the seller to give him one chocolate with banana. Toru returns back and sees two young men approaching Dato. They told the girl that she was pretty. They asked her what was wrong because if she had problems, they could help. Dato started to get angry. Toru approaches them and apologizes, saying that Dato is a foreigner and does not speak Russian. He asks if they need help. The boys answer that Dato is already with someone, although she looks like something happened to her. The boys leave. Dato said that they are very annoying, and how can they talk to a stranger so carelessly? Toru gives the girl a dessert and tells her to eat it to get back into a good mood. He gives her thin pancakes that are sweet and tasty. The girl looked at them and decided to take a bite. Suddenly she beamed and began to devour the dessert. The guy watched. The girl apologized and said that she herself did not realize how she ate everything. Toru wipes her face. He says that if she likes it so much, she can eat as much as she wants. The girl asked him not to laugh. Toru apologizes and says that she really liked it. Dato puffs out her cheeks and says that it's not that tasty and that she doesn't want to eat it. Toru asks if that's really the case, and then if she doesn't mind, he'll eat it all for her. He's about to take a bite, but notices Dato's intense gaze. Toru says that he has already eaten his fill, so he can share. Dato agrees. After some time, they come to a shopping mall. Dato is surprised and says that there are many strange things sold here. She notices the clothes and realizes that Arya is wearing the same clothes. Dato says that she realized something. Toru asks what the girl realized. Dato says this is a place where clothes for bad men are sold. He made Rhea wear such clothes. The girl called Toru bad. Toru said that the girl was wrong. It was an experiment. Japanese food and clothes have a special effect in the dungeon. Dato was surprised. Toru said that he hadn't tested it with clothes, but food increased his readings. Dato said clothing may increase the readings. Toru said that Rhea is still afraid to go back to the dungeon, but if she wants to go back, he can buy clothes to test. Also, he promises that these clothes will suit her and he is confident. After some time, they buy clothes. Dato says that Japan is amazing. The shops are big, the food is delicious, and all the things are so cool. Toru replies that he is glad that the girl likes it. They enter the house and Rhea is still peacefully sleeping. Toru said that thanks to this nothing happened. Dato agreed and said that she was indeed sleeping soundly. Toru asked about Rhea if Dato really didn't hate Rhea. Dato said that she was annoying, it brought a lot of trouble, but at least she wasn't a hypocrite. Toru said that then they could become friends with her and not fight. Dato said that it didn't mean she wanted to be friends with her. The young man asked her not to say that because it was a good chance, especially when they were in the same house. Dato replied that only when she was in a good mood. Toru thought that Dato didn't want to join groups. That's what Rhea said. He doesn't understand what made Dato go into the dungeon alone back then. Then Dato asked Toru if she could sleep in the same bed with him. Toru said that they had agreed otherwise. He would sleep on the bed and the girls would sleep in the living room. Dato replied that it had certainly been a fun time. The next morning, Rhea wakes up Toru. She says that it is already morning, so the young man needs to get up. Toru replied that it was too early and he had no work today, so he asked Rhea to sleep. Rhea said that if the boy continued to sleep, it would be bad for his health. She asked him to get up. Then the girl starts pushing the young man so that he would wash his face and brush his teeth. When he finishes, he should go have breakfast because she has prepared something to eat. The young man comes into the bathroom and sees Dato there. The boy says he now understands why Rhea is called the annoying knight. Dato asks if that is true. After some time, the young man pours milk into a cup. Rhea asks if that's all, and Dato asks if it's edible since it contains milk. The boy tells them to try it since it also contains dried fruits. The girls try it and say it's really delicious. Dato agrees and says it's very sweet and delicious. Rhea replies that to think that there is something that is so easy to make and yet so delicious. As expected from a great and experienced sage, it is incredible. After breakfast, he went to put away his luggage after moving to this subway. Toru said that he was counting on Rhea. He would be in the room and if necessary, the girl could call him. Rhea agreed and asked the young man to trust her. Toru is left alone and says that now we can get down to business. He takes out his computer. Dato asks the boy what it is. Toru replies that it is a computer monitor. He connects it to the system unit and starts the computer. The boy says that it is not broken and good. Dato answered that the computer can do. He only sees a blue screen. Toru said that he can do many things and the internet is especially interesting. Then an image appears on the screen. Dato is surprised and asks what it is and if it could be that there is a fairy inside. The young man said that it was a singer. They can also find information about other worlds here. Dato said that Japanese inventions are amazing. Toru said that he can do something else. He thinks that it is possible to see the layout of the dungeon and its appearance. Dato asked if that is really true. Toru thought that there were a couple of things that needed to be checked and one of them was money. The boy told Dato that he wanted to see the money of her world. Dato agreed and asked the boy to wait a little. She brings a pouch and tells Toru to look. Toru asks the girl what she did with the monsters he defeated. Dato says that didn't they agree to use this story? She can't tell him. Toru says that he is safe for a while. The boy then asks about the gold coins. The girl agrees and says that they are Gadius gold coins, imperial gold coins, and some commemorative gold coins. Toru asked if he could use the coins to make purchases. He then said he had a request. He asks the girl if she minds that he uses the money to buy snacks and lanterns. The girl agrees and then asks the boy if he is sure that the currency from another world will be accepted. Toru replies that it is obvious that yes. Dato tells him to take as much as he wants as thanks for the suit. If the boy is right about the artifacts of this world that increase stats, they will be even rarer than those that appear in the markets. Toru wondered if this suit would be sold at the black auction. He says he'll take one of each coin for now. The boy then asks Dato if she wants to take a bath. Dato is surprised and asks if the boy really has one. Toru agrees. The boy leaves the room and calls Ria. The girl comes and asks what happened. Toru asks if the girl would mind taking a bath with Dato. Dato is surprised. She asks the boy to wait and says that she can take a bath herself. Ria says that she understands and then turns to Dato and says that she will teach the girl how to take a bath. Everything is different here. Dato says that she can handle it herself. Ria replied that it was dangerous and she couldn't do it alone. Toru thought that if he had said he was leaving, Dato would have followed him, but now Ria would be with her. He gets dressed and says that it's time to get ready now. After some time, he comes to the bank. The girl at the reception says that in general, the total amount they can give them is 106,400 yen. Toru was surprised and asked if they could really give such a large amount. The girl at the reception agreed. She said that the small medal is worth 9,400 yen and this medal with a face is worth 97,000 yen. The biggest medal seems to be plated with platinum gold. They can't estimate its real value, they need to check it further. So for now, they can give the young man this much. Regarding the last medal, they ask if the young man would mind if they took it for further examination. They will inform the young man when they know its true value. The young man says that he does not need it and that 2 coins are enough for him. Then he goes home and says that they are worth so much. If they continue to study these coins, sooner or later it will attract problems. It will be suspicious if he comes to exchange money often, but he cannot spare some of his time for this now. Now that he has money, he can buy the necessary things to make sure. Last night, when Ria fell asleep, he ventured into the dungeon with Dato to learn more about their world. There, the young man was able to level up. Toru says he killed a giant centipede. The girl says she wants to see Toru's statuses. Toru reveals his status and Dato realizes that his real name is Suzuki Toru, but she will still call him Toru. She also says that the boy turned 21 this year. Toru asks Dato about his age and she says that she will tell him later. She also learns that the boy's profession is unknown. The boy also has unlimited growth, although he is only level 4. Toru says that he has had this from the very beginning. Dato says that it is amazing that she tried everything to have such a skill. Toru is happy. Dato says that Toru's life is short. Toru asks what Dato means. Dato says that unlike elves who can constantly increase their levels due to their longevity, humans can't do much. There's a very high chance that they'll die before they reach their level cap. Toru sighs. Dato said that the big centipede that the boy met is not so easy to defeat for someone who is level 1. Moreover, the chance to meet it is rare for a beginner. Toru replied that he was lucky there then. Dato said that this status reflects the main growth of the youth's activities. It is completely different from the growth of the profession. In the case of the youth, the lack of a profession means that the youth cannot do anything yet, but his profession can be anything. It depends on his efforts. He can develop attack skills, magic, and support skills. But for that, he needs to level up and also learn a lot of profession. Toru says that it's time to look at the girl's status and that she should not forget to take off her robe so that he can see what's underneath. The girl takes off her robe and is in a swimsuit. The girl said that it was embarrassing and asked the boy to stop looking at her. The girl looked at the stats and said that her defense had increased by 200 and her level cap had increased. Toru said that he wanted to see it too. He copied down the girl's characteristics and said that she was 221 years old. Dato said that elves can live up to 1,000 years, which is like 20 years in human years. The boy said that Dato had almost reached her level limit. Dato said that he was wrong. She had reached her limit a long time ago, but after she put on this swimsuit, the limit increased. It's strange that such elastic clothing has high protection ratings. She says that these clothes are wonderful. Dato said that she was sure that these shorts also had a special effect. She would change and check. Toru was surprised that this should happen here and now. Dato asked the young man to turn away for a second. The girl changed her clothes and did not understand why this was so. She said that her level limit has not decreased even now that she is not wearing a swimsuit. The boy asked what the girl meant by that. Dato said that she meant that it wasn't the swimsuit that increased her level cap. There had never been a time when the level cap increased on its own. Toru was surprised. Dato said that the effect of the unlimited level is still not fully understood, but she thinks the reason is different. Dato and Toru's lips touch. Toru is surprised and asks what just happened. Dato says that she was right and her conclusions are correct. Toru asks what happened and then points to the girl's clothes. She froze. She was embarrassed and apologized to the boy. Toru replied that it was nothing and asked what happened. Dato said that when they did something, her level cap somehow increased. She checked that it had increased and now the value was 49. It seemed that when someone kissed the boy, they would gain unlimited growth. The boy asked if the ability of unlimited growth was really possible. Dato said that she had never heard of it back then either. Perhaps it was because the boy lived in this world, or it was the ability of the skill itself. Toru said that there was not even a description of the skill. Dato replied that there were some skills that required a high-level appraiser to be seen, she knew. Toru asks if the girl is saying that there are abilities that he has and not only that. Then the boy asks Dato what she is doing. Dato asks if the boy can't see that she wants to kiss him. Toru asks her to calm down. Dato asked the boy if he really didn't want to help the girl increase her level cap. She had spent many decades without being able to increase her level. He didn't know how many monsters she had defeated to become stronger. At the same time, she was still behind humans who had a higher level cap. Toru said he was sorry. Dato said that she wouldn't kiss someone she didn't like, even to level up. She did it because it was Toru. The boy was surprised and said that he was glad the girl said that. Dato said that Toru was just thinking about Rhea. She said that it was because the boy liked her more than Dato. Toru replied that he couldn't say that. He said that he liked Dato as much as Rhea. Dato was surprised. Toru apologized and said that he was hopeless and so frivolous. Dato asked what if he chose Rhea. What after that in 80 years when Rhea is gone, will he be with the girl? Toru asked what she was saying. In 80 years, Rhea will be gone and he will be dead too. Dato said that there is a way to extend life. But for this, something is needed. Toru asked about a way to extend life. He asked Dato to tell him about it. Dato said that this method is the ruler of the labyrinth, the master of the underground. The next day, Toru was working at the restaurant. He sighed tiredly and thought that everything was very complicated. Last night, the young man asked about the dungeon master. Dato agreed and said that this was a skill that would allow the young man to become the master of the dungeon. Even though it's technically a skill, it can't be obtained by simply leveling up. Dato said the only way is to go to the bottom floor, find the current overlord, so to speak, and get the skill from him. Toru asked what happens to lifespan when you gain a skill. Dato replied that the dungeon master never ages. Toru was surprised and asked if that meant he was immortal. Dato replied that even though he does not age, he can still die. The overlords reside in this dungeon, known as Yomi. They can choose successors and can also be challenged to a duel for the right to become the overlord of the dungeon. Toru replied that it was clear to him now and then asked how to get to him. Dato replied that they had to reach the top floor first and that defeating the dungeon master would require a great deal of experience. However, the young man needs to defeat him as quickly as possible before he is killed by monsters or dies in old age. If you think about it sensibly, it's impossible. She asks the boy to imagine that it took her hundreds of years to reach her level. Toru gave a negative answer. Toru said that these are just levels and they can handle it. There is one method they can use. Dato asked about killing monsters. Dato said it was an interesting idea. Toru asked if it might not work. The girl said that it was quite possible. In general, adventurers perceived monsters as creatures that they had to defend against in order to level up, so they never thought about increasing their numbers, but if they really reproduced faster than cows and pigs. Toru said that regarding the increase in the number of monsters, they can check their status through his computer, at the right time turning off the traps that they set earlier to kill them. This means that they will be able to level up easily, while remaining safe in the room. Dato said that was wonderful and then asked what had happened to her efforts over the past 200 years. Toru replied that in any case, they could try leveling up using this method first. Dato added that they could do it. Toru said that, however, he was not quite prepared for something. He did not even know what it was like. Dato asked the boy what he meant. Toru says that it is unknown whether it is good or bad for a person to live longer than other people. Doesn't that mean that the girl will always be with him? Dato said that they will be together, traveling between worlds, looking for adventures, trying and enjoying different foods. She's sure it will be great. Toru said it was a good idea. Then he said that he had never managed a dungeon. He hated the idea of monsters belonging to him killing people. The girl said that adventurers did the same to monsters, and if he really hated it, they could try to solve the problem. Dato added that besides, if he didn't like being the dungeon master, the young man would always have time to pass on this privilege to someone else, probably. Toru said that his goal now is to reach the most inaccessible part of the dungeon. He hopes that there will be no problem with the appearance of another dungeon lord. After some time at work, Toru thought that even though he said so, he was just a poor young man. He thinks that changing his part-time job and becoming a dungeon master is funny. Suddenly, Teichi approaches Suzuki. She says that it looks like the food in the oven is ready, and she has another order. The young man apologizes to the girl and says that he will sort it out now. The girl agrees. She looks at the young man and is worried. After some time, the boy comes home. Ria and Dato greet the boy. Dato said that the boy is late and she wants to eat. Toru apologized and said that he brought food from there today so they can have dinner. Ria was surprised. Toru said that he teleported to another country and, as the girl sees, he brought food as a gift. Ria prints it out and says it's the hamburger they tried earlier with 2 buns. The boy agreed and said that it was just called a hamburger. Ria and Dato try the hamburgers and say that it is very tasty. Dato also said that the cola was simply excellent, and Ria agreed with her. Toru quietly opened the door and told Shizuku to take 1 burger and eat. The girl thanks the boy. Dato enters the room. She asks Toru if he is really hiding Shizuku from Ria. Toru replies that he helped Ria when she almost died in the dungeon. She was paralyzed. She got hit hard, the monsters scared her, so she might be scared of Shizuku. Dato is surprised that Ria was paralyzed alone. Toru agrees and says that she got separated from her friends and lost her sword. Dato said that as she expected, suddenly there was a loud sound. Ria suddenly ran into the room and asked Toru about the strange sound. Dato was also surprised. Toru closed the cabinet door at that moment. Toru said that everything was fine and they shouldn't panic. He picks up the intercom and starts talking. Ria turns to Toru in confusion. Toru told the girl that they should hide. It seems that a dark magician has appeared. The girls were very surprised. The girls asked again about the dark magician. Toru replied that they should hide inside. Suddenly, a voice was heard, saying that he needed to talk to the boy about the treaty. Ria asked about the contract and asked if it was related to magical contact. She asked Toru if he could handle it alone. Toru agreed with the girl and said that he was a great sage after all. Then he told the girls to go to the room. Dato told Ria that they should leave this to Toru, so they should go to the room. Toru said that he would try to finish quickly, and he hoped that the guest would leave quickly. A man appeared at the door and said that he was from NNK and that the boy could call him Inami. He asked the boy if he really had just moved in. Now would be a good time to discuss the cable contract. Toru said they couldn't just barge in like they were at home. Toru realized he had forgotten to lock the door when he came in. Toru said that he doesn't have a TV and the internet is enough for him. The man asked if the boy really wanted him to believe that he didn't have a TV since there was plenty of room. Toru said that he wasn't lying and there was nothing there. The man apologized for disturbing him and began to break into the house. He said that if Toru didn't have a TV, there shouldn't be any problems. He would inspect the boy's house and it wouldn't take long. Toru said that you can't go into the house. He asks the man if he really thinks it's okay to just walk into someone's house without permission. Toru didn't understand what was wrong with this man. He pushed him away, even though Toru had leveled up and his strength should have increased. Suddenly, Ria appeared and asked the man what he was doing with Toru. And then she pushed the man so hard that he flew to the side. Toru turned to Ria and said that he thought the girl was hiding. She pushed the boy back. The boy asked if the man was okay. Toru thought that it was as expected of Ria with her high level of hand-to-hand combat. He hoped that the man was alive. The man woke up and said that he was in a lot of pain. He stands up and says that he may not look like it, but he was a rank 9 in sumo and he had to say that the punch was pretty good. Toru was surprised and thought that rank 9 sounded scary. The man gets angry and says that judging by the way the boy is trying to avoid inspection, there is definitely a television here. Toru said there's no TV here. Suddenly, Dato appears and uses lightning magic on the man, stunning him. The man falls. Dato asked the boy not to worry because there was no harm done. She simply used a spell to shake his consciousness a little. The man regains consciousness. Dato was surprised by how the man could move. The man says that it surprised him, and could it be that it was statistical electricity? Toru wondered if the man was really human at all. The man put his hand on Toru's shoulder and said that he had to make sure about the television anyway. Toru asked if the man really still wanted to see his house. Toru sighs and says that the man can look around his house. He understands that the man does not want to leave. If things get worse, the two will kill him. The man says that everything is fine. He begins to look around and check the young man's house. He goes everywhere. He says that there really is no TV here. Then the man says that he has not checked the locked rooms yet. Toru asked him to wait. The man wondered what it was and whether he really hid the TV here as he thought. Toru thought that behind this door were the books he hid from the girls. Toru whispered the reason to the man and he laughed. He said that it was normal for an unmarried man to have 1 or 2 dozen magazines. He told the boy not to worry and that he would not steal his collection. Toru was surprised. Then Toru asks the girls to leave the room first. He doesn't think Shizuka won't hide. Ria asked if everything would be okay since there were grimoires among them, and could it be that the dark mage's goal was to steal them. Toru said that everything was fine and let him do as he wanted. After a while, the man comes out upset and says that there really is no TV. Toru replies that he said so from the beginning. The man he answers that he will not give up. He will be here when Suzuki buys a TV. Toru answered that when he wants to come, to make sure that he will be here. He is even afraid to imagine what will happen if he is not there when the man comes. The man then leaves. Toru says that the people from NNK are so annoying. He notices that Dato is reading dangerous books. The young man realizes that the man did not return anything to its place after he dug through everything here. The girl closes the book. She says she put them a little further away. If Ria finds it, it won't be good. In return, she wants the boy to let her read it when he has time. She wants to know what Toru wants. Toru thinks that Dato wants to do what is depicted there. Then Toru thinks that it feels like he missed something. When Anami left, he used the balcony doors instead of the front door. He remembers it. The man comes out and sighs because he couldn't make the contract. Suddenly, he wonders where he is. He realizes that it is so dark here and he can't see anything. The man turns on the flashlight on his phone and realizes that he should have been in the hallway, and could it be that this is the back exit? Aren opens the iron door. He suddenly meets someone. At this moment, Toru comes out into the dungeon and calls out to Anami. The man starts asking someone if he has a subscription or a contract. People don't understand what he's talking about and he's saying something strange. They decide to go back. The man walks right behind them. Toru realizes that Anami just went after the monsters in the dungeons. He must go after the man immediately. He is sure that the man will survive the battle against the slugs, but it will be bad if he meets a giant centipede. Dato denies. She says that Ria didn't bring her sword and Toru is too weak, it's too dangerous. Toru asks the boy what will happen to him. Dato says that she will go alone. Dato says that now is the right time because she was just thinking about going back. Since she has been in the boy's house, she has had doubts that need to be sorted out. The boy needs gold coins to buy things. She says she will bring some and that Anami will bring some too. Toru turned to Dato in confusion. The girl asked him not to make such a face because she would be back soon. Toru replied that he understood, but since that was the case, he would help her pack her things. After a while, the young man gives the girl a bag and says that he put food and drinks as well as cosplay clothes. Dato thanked him. The young man told the girl to come back safe. Dato said that was a given. They had talked about living together for the rest of their lives. She also said that she would bring Anami. They just had to keep the door tightly closed until the monitor worked. The boy agreed. The girl smiled. The iron door closed. Ria said that she hoped Dato would return soon. Toru agreed. Ria also spoke about Anami and added that she hopes nothing happens. It had been a week since Dato had gone underground. Suddenly, the bell rang and Toru thought that it seemed like it. Toru apologizes and says that his hands are a bit busy right now, so can they open the door? He realized after the Anami incident that he can't open the door from the inside even if the bone comes, since it's connected to the dungeon. A courier comes into the room and says that a delivery has arrived for the young man and asks him to sign for it. The young man signs and thanks the courier. He then sighs and says that the box has finally arrived. Rhea asks Toru what it is. Toru says that these are special artifacts. All the money he got from selling the coins has been spent. But as long as he has this, he can finally remake the dungeon. First, you need to install the cameras and the voice recorder, then connect the cables to them. Toru asks Rhea to look at the screen. The girl agrees. She looks at the screen and then takes the camera. The girl is surprised to see a young man on the monitor. Toru asks her. Rhea said that just now the room with the tatami was there, and suddenly Toru appeared. The young man realized that the camera was working. He says that at least it should work. The problem now is how to move the cables into the dungeon. Since he rents an apartment, he can't drill a hole in the wall, nor can he keep the door open all the time. He has only one way in mind that should work. He sees a pipe from the air conditioner. It is in the same direction as the entrance, so maybe he can. It will create a hole to pull the cable through, and he himself thinks that nothing happens here. The young man says that he is going underground and will return soon. Rhea agrees. He looks around the dungeon and says that if they are connected, then the cable should be here somewhere, but it is not here. He says that this can't be, and was it all pointless? Then the young man says that it is too early to give up. This room is connected to both the dungeon and the apartment, but when the door is open from the inside, it is connected to the dungeon. When the door is open from the outside, it is connected to the apartment. If the door is closed, then what is it connected to? He heard Anima's voice before he opened the door. In other words, it is connected to the apartment. If he opens the door from the inside and leaves it open, it might be connected to the dungeon. The pipe may be connected to the dungeon. Toru says he's going to the dungeon again. Then he discovers a wire on the wall. He also brings the camera and connects it. All that's left is to check if the cable is connected when he closes the door. The young man runs to the computer and asks Arya what's wrong with the camera. On the screen, he sees a dungeon. The cable is still connected to the other side. The boy says they did it. Rhea says she doesn't quite understand, but she's glad. Later, Toru prepared the other cameras. He placed them in front of the entrance in a huge open area and also in front of an iron door. He placed them in different places. Rhea says that with this, the boy will be able to see what is happening in the dungeon from the room. The boy agrees. Rhea says that it must be a high-level magic that can see from afar. Just to think that the youth can use such an artifact. As she thought, Toru is a great sage. Toru laughs and then says that it's too early to be surprised. After all, the main part of the dungeon remodeling will start with another. In his hands, he holds a very strange device. He looked at the instrument. Rhea asks the young man if he really intends to install it in the dungeon as well. The young man agrees and says that by the iron doors. Toru thinks that this is what he calls a robot arm, something he bought at the same level as a toy, but nevertheless, it should be able to press the button to open or close the iron door. He made everything in such a way that the hand can be controlled through a computer. Then the young man works on the computer. He exhales and says that he is only new to programming, so creating a program to move his hand up and down took a long time since he started researching. He says that Rhea, who was interested in helping him from the beginning, fell asleep without him noticing. He thinks the girl is very cute when she sleeps. However, it doesn't matter. Either way, he can carry out the plan. He clicks the mouse button and an iron hand opens the door. Toru thought that the last time he had crushed the giant centipede with an iron door, he had not finished it off completely, and when he turned around, its body had already been cut off. If it had been a weaker monster, death would have been instantaneous. If the door could crush the centipede's head, it could defeat it. He calls the monster in. On the camera, he sees the slime approaching. The boy presses the button and the door closes, squashing the slug. The young man thinks it worked, and then decides to continue. After a while, he says that something is really bad. It only worked well with the first monster. Since then, many slugs have entered, but most of them have left before the door closes. It seems he will have to defeat all the slugs that passed by the door. After a while, he comes out. He sees slugs near the body of the centipede. He realizes that they are attracted to the corpse of the centipede. The corpse is mostly digested, so you need to think about what other bait to make. If this is the only thing that can attract slugs, then its level won't increase much. He's thinking of something that other monsters will like better than slimes, something so good that they won't notice the traps. He thinks it's time to go shopping a bit. Toru goes outside dressed as Shizuku. The girl says that the shop is big and dazzling. Toru thinks that to find out what monsters like the most, it's better to ask them. he asks Shizuku to transform into his clothes. The boy then asks her that if she likes something, she should just tell him. Shizuku agrees and says that she will try her best. They walk around the store. Shizuku said that everything looks very delicious. The boy says that when they attack a person, the monsters think it's meat. Shizuku says that she also likes the favorite dishes that the master takes. Toru thinks that Shizuku is too cute. He says that the monsters like Japanese food, so he will buy a little bit of everything. He decides to buy fruits, vegetables, meat, and snacks and try them all out. He turns to Shizuku and says that since he made her come, he will buy her anything she wants. Shizuku asks if this is true. Then she says she wants a collar. Toru asks if she really wants to wear the collar, but slimes don't have necks. Shizuku replies that it means he will wear it in human form. It was written in a thin book that if he wears the collar given by the master, it is proof of his affection for you. Toru thought that it was true that Shizuku was like a pet, but the collar in human form was not very good. He cursed that his brain imagined Rhea. Toru suggests that the girl choose something else today. He thinks that it seems that Shizuku absorbed some not-so-good information from these books. Shizuku agrees, then he looks at the store and thinks about the pets. He wonders if these products can be used as bait. After some time, he comes to the dungeon again. The young man lays out the food and says that he will put the food in front of the door. Then he decides to put cat food in. If he uses it, the monsters will gather around and jump in. Shizuku says it smells delicious, then asks what it is. Toru says it's animal food. If a girl likes it, then other monsters should like it too. Night has come. Toru sits down at the computer and decides to open the door. The iron door opens. Toru said that it simply couldn't be. The giant centipede and the giant mouse appeared. Not only them, but also ghost mushrooms, and there are also many slugs. It seems that almost everyone was attracted by the cat food. He then decides to close the door and tells the monsters to stay put. The door closes and Toru says it worked. His level also increased. Shizuku told the owner that it was just wonderful. He decided to go to the dungeon and check it out. Later, the young man learned that his level had increased by 2 and he had defeated everyone in an instant. Then he noticed something special. If there is no direction in the work section, it means he cannot master various skills. This is what Dato told him earlier. The boy wonders if he can view other people's statuses this way. He will try it on Rhea when he has the opportunity. If he continues to do the same and increases his level, he will be able to defeat the huge centipede with one blow. It can be argued that clicking the mouse counts as an attack. After some time, the young man decides to replenish the bait. He comes home and sits down at the computer, ready to continue leveling up. However, he looks at his phone and realizes that it is very late. Toru thinks that his part-time job starts at 9 in the morning and he should sleep more, but he decides to defeat the monsters one last time and then go to sleep. The boy says that it was close and they ran away at the last moment. Then the young man decides to try again. After some time at work, the young man was very rumpled. Finally came to work after a sleepless night, but he had increased his level a lot. Suddenly, Tateshi turned to the young man and asked him to quickly prepare the salad. Toru thought he should hurry up and level up. Decorating a salad doesn't level him up. If only he could level up while working. If he recalls, he was once addicted to games. Already at home, the young man types free software and devices for auto-clicks on his computer. He is surprised that there were so many programs. In a computer game, using a program, you can automatically grind the level and items. Such programs are called bots. For using bots in the game, you are banned, but here, in the dungeon, there is no one who would control it. Manually pasting may bring more success, but they only have 24 hours in a day, and with work and sleep, productivity will be on a whole other level. He decides to download the program. Rhea approaches Toru and asks what it is. The boy says that it allows him to automatically open and close the iron door in this room. The girl is surprised that he can do that. Rhea says that it is amazing. Toru thinks that Rhea went to bed first last night and does not know about the trap. Rhea was surprised that the young man would do something like that. Rhea told Toru that he is a great sage. Even if he defeats the monsters, he can reach the maximum level. The youth replies that in any case, for research purposes, increasing the number of monsters can help adventurers. She did not expect this from Toru. Toru thought that he was far from the limit. Toru decides that they will now set an interval for the auto-click. One that opens after 20 minutes and closes after 2 minutes will do. That's the scheme they have now. He decides to leave it and see if his level increases. Toru thought that he thought so, that this was the limit. He apologizes to Ria and says that he is sleepy, so he will go and take a nap. Ria asks if she can then look at the monitor. Toru agrees but says that it is too boring. Ria replies that she is interested in Toru's artifact. Toru agrees and tells Ria that she can then track what kind of monsters were defeated. The girl agrees and wishes him good dreams. After a while, Ria screamed. Toru stands up and asks what happened. Ria replies that there is an orc and a dark mage on the monitor. A familiar man returns with an orc. Ria repeats and says that there is an orc with a dark mage on the monitor. The young man rubs his eyes and asks about the dark magician. He then talks about Inami and asks why he eats pet food while half naked. Suddenly the door closes. Toru screamed because the iron door started to go down. He screamed and anxiously started to click on the mouse. Toru thought that he panicked and clicked the button a bunch of times. Toru runs away and screams that he has to do something. He runs out into the dungeon and calls out to Inami. The man says that they haven't seen each other for a long time. Inami asks if it is possible that the young man bought the TV, then they need to make a contract. Toru says that he did not buy the TV and they will sort it out later. The man asks why Toru suddenly screamed like that. Toru asked him to look up. The man replied that he understood, and when he looked up, the boy would steal the delicious food he and Mr. Orc had found. He wouldn't buy it. Toru said that the man was wrong. This animal food is a trap, so he asks the man to go upstairs. Inami looks up and sees the door going up and down. Inami tells the orc that they should retreat. The orc asks Inami what happened and he wants some tasty food. Inami says that this delicious food is a trap. The orc replies that he believes the boy. They're leaving. Toru sighs and says that they are safe now. He is tired for no apparent reason. Then he realizes that after all, Inami has returned to the dungeon. He presses the button and says that he can still bring Inami back. He thinks that with Ria, he can probably get through the wall behind the iron door. He holds out his hand to Ria and calls her to come with him. The girl agrees. Suddenly she falls. Toru notices her trembling body. The next moment, Dato appears. She asks Toru and Ria what they are doing here. Toru replies that Dato just passed by Inami. Dato remembers the name and says that Toru is talking about that Japanese guy. The boy tells the girl that she just forgot about it. The girl says that she knows. Dato replies that she has carefully collected information about Inami as there was a rumor in the guild. Toru asks the girl what she means. Dato turns his attention to Ria and says that they can talk in the room anyway. After some time, Dato drinks cola and says that cola after so much time is simply the best. Toru asks about the rumor. Dato replies that there is a rumor going around the Adventure Guild bar about a strange orc who is asking people if they want to sign a TV contract. Toru asks about the Adventure Guild. Ria says that since Toru is retired, he may not be familiar with it, but the Yopi Labyrinth is under the control of the country of Francis and is run by the Adventure Guild. Many branches of the guild have their own bar there. Toru understands and says that it is a single organization in the game. Ria adds that there is a quest to eliminate Inami. Toru is surprised and asks what does eliminate mean and does it mean kill. Dato says that she thinks so. The quest is for E rank and there is not much reward. Ria adds that since the orc is a strong monster, she doesn't think there's anyone stupid enough to hunt with an A rank for an E rank bounty. Toru gets it. Dato says that if a leveled adventurer finds Inami, he will eliminate him with a single click. Even if they don't really want to, if he continues to solder the contract, they will become irritated. Toru says that this is bad and asks if they can save him. Dato asks the youth to think about it. Dato says that they can submit a request to the guild with a higher reward, provided that they deliver him alive. Toru asks if the girl can do that. Dato says that maybe the boy wants to talk to the one who gave the quest in the first place. She doesn't think it will be a problem since that person wants Inami to leave. Toru says that he will be the same way because he will bring him back to this world. He apologizes to Dato and asks if the girl can go to the Adventurers Guild. Dato gets angry and asks the boy if the boy knows that she just came back from there. Toru says that she knows that she is asking for a lot. Toru says he can't leave Inami alone. He begs Dato. Dato says that if Toru is with her, she will go. The boy is surprised and asks if the girl really wants to go with him, but last time she said it was dangerous. Dato says that the boy has raised his level since then. He will be fine as long as she and Ria are with him. The girl is surprised and asks if she is coming too, then says that she doesn't have a sword and will get in the way. Dato starts laughing and takes out a wrapped bundle. The girl takes out a package and asks Rhea what she thinks it is. Toru asks if the girl really brought something from the dungeon. Dato says that she brought it for Rhea. Dato unwraps the package and says it is a claymore sword. She gives Rhea a present and says it is an expensive gift. Rhea panics and says she cannot accept it. Dato replies that it's okay and asks Rhea to just accept it. She wouldn't be able to use the sword anyway even if she wanted to. She also tells Rhea that she couldn't go into the dungeon because she didn't have a sword. Rhea thanks the girl and says she will return the money. Dato says everything is fine and she borrowed a little. Rhea remains silent. Toru is happy and says that the three of them will now go down to the dungeon. Rhea is surprised and asks if they are really going there right now. Toru says that the girl needs to prepare, so they will go tomorrow or the day after. Dato replies that she just got back, so she wants to rest. Toru replies that since they decided, he should raise his level as much as possible before they leave. Dato approaches Toru and asks if the trap that raises the level that the boy spoke of is really finished. The boy agrees and says that he wants to show it to the girl. The boy shows the girl the device. Dato is surprised and says that the boy can see the dungeon from here. Toru agrees and says that the girl can see something in front of the door. The girl asks if it is trash. Toru says that it is food for pets, cats, and dogs. It is very effective in finding monsters. Then he decides to open the iron door. The girl is surprised and asks what is happening. The boy suggests that she just watch and sees that a centipede has appeared. Dato says that it is a giant centipede and that they must defeat it before it attacks. Toru asks her not to panic. Then he slams the door. Toru says that he leveled up. Dato is surprised that he leveled up like that. Toru agrees and says that it is also done automatically, so he can level up even when he is sleeping. It was dangerous and he couldn't do that when Anami was here. Dato asks Toru what level he is now. Toru says he is level 9, although he is now level 10. The girl is surprised and asks if he is really level 10. Toru says that he stayed up all night and leveled up. Because of the part-time job that was during the day, he was very tired. Dato started crying and saying that it was unfair. She had to fight monsters to the death to reach level 10, and it took a long time. Toru tells Dato to do the same. Dato is surprised and asks what she should do. Toru told her to move this mouse. She should put the arrow on the mark and press with her index finger. Dato says it's very funny. Then she says she won. Suddenly Toru calls Rhea. Toru asks Rhea what happened. Rhea says that it has been a long time since she used the sword. She would like to practice the strike given by the sword in the dungeon a little. Toru says that's a good idea. Toru asks if he can watch. Rhea apologizes and says she wanted to practice alone to focus. Rhea apologizes for being selfish. Toru said that everything was fine and asked Dato not to click anymore. Dato stopped. A little later, Toru said that he would return in about an hour, and until then the girl could not return to the room. The girl said that she understood. The boy closes the door and goes to Shizuku, asking if she can do him a favor. Shizuku asks the boy what is it. Toru said that Shizuku could just in case watch Rhea through the camera, and if the girl can, remember her movements. If Shizuku, who can remember all of Rhea's movements, controls his body, then he will also copy Rhea's movements. Shizuku said that she understood and would do her best. Toru replies that he will go and buy some dinner and then asks the girl if they will watch the house. The girls agree and wish him a good trip. After a while, Toru says he splurged and bought some good meat. Dato is back, so he decides to make some delicious sukiyaki. The boy comes back and says he's home. Suddenly, Dato and Shizuka appeared and said that something bad had happened. Toru asked what happened and why the girls were panicking. Suddenly, they say that Rhea has passed out in the dungeon. Some time ago, a girl thanked Rhea for being part of the Katja household. Rhea told the girl that she was not worthy of these words. The girl said that she was no longer Rhea's mistress, so the girl should not be modest. Rhea remained silent, but the girl hugged her. She said that she and Rhea were almost the same age and had grown up together since they were young, so the girl was like a sister to her. Rhea was shocked by Monika's words. Monika asked Rhea not to make such a face. Since she is leaving today, Monika wants the girl to smile and say goodbye to her. Monika added that it was nothing compared to the loyalty that House Eldrax had served them with, but she would like the girl to take the sword. After some time, Rhea wakes up. She gets up from her bed and looks at his hands. At this time, Dato told Toru that everything was okay. She had no physical injuries and her breathing and pulse were normal. Toru breathed a sigh of relief. He asked the girls why Ria fell. Shizuku replied that they were looking after her. She was holding her sword and then stopped and suddenly fell. Dato added that this is most likely a mental trauma. Toru spoke about the mental trauma and added that as he thought, she must be afraid of the dungeon. He thought that since Ria went out alone with a sword, she would be fine. Dato replied that it was not so. Ria wanted to go alone to overcome her fear. This is trauma. If so, it would be better for Ria to stay here safely and take her time to heal her emotional wounds. Dato says that Ria's trauma may never heal. Toru is very surprised. Toru asks the girl what the reason is. Dato says that the rumor in the Adventurers Guild wasn't just about Inami. She says that there was another rumor, and if it was true, then the problem was deep-rooted. Toru was surprised and asked if this rumor had anything to do with Ria. He asks Dato to tell him about it. Dato felt a little awkward. Suddenly Ria appeared and said that she wanted to tell him something. They were surprised. Toru asked the girl if she could get up in her current state. Ria replied that it was fine and apologized for bothering her. Dato told Ria that she didn't have to force herself to talk about it if she didn't want to. Ria replied that she had to tell him about it. She wanted Dato and Toru to listen to her story. After a while, they were all sitting at the table. Ria said that in order to tell them why she became like this, they first needed to know why she became an adventurer. She was born into House Eldrax, a family of military nobles who had served House Katja for generations. Their duty was to lead the knights of the noble Katja family, but no sons were born into the Eldrax family, and Ria became the head of the house. However, at the time she was born, the Katja fiefdom was suffering from endless droughts which led to economic problems. However, strangely, only girls were born in the Katja household. The female head of the Eldrax family was forgiven because they were not of such noble blood, but despite everything collapsing before their eyes in that family, they could not allow a woman to lead it. They became poor and were not blessed with an heir, and as a result, their lineage was cut short. The last of the Katja line, Monica Katja, married a duke, and thus the Katja line ended. At 16, Monica was to become the duke's bride. Monica gave Ria her family heirloom, a sword. And so Ria lost the mistress she served. However, even if she no longer serves the Katja family and she is not a knight, she is not able to throw away her loyalty to the Katja house. She thought about what she could do and decided. She decided that she would help the impoverished orphans born in the land of Katja back in those days and support them financially, so she decided to become an adventurer and earn money in the dungeon. The sword given to her by Monica to protect what was left of the house of Katja, that's why she became an adventurer. Dato said that the girl had changed a lot and had gone from being a knight to an adventurer. Ria replied that since the only thing she could do was control a sword, she had decided that it was better to use her body rather than her head. Toru agreed and thought that Ria's body was very trained and it was better to use it than her brain. Dato said that there are many adventurers who are scum and criminals, so there were rumors about a beautiful and strong former knight girl who registered with the Adventure Guild. Ria said that Dato was also popular, but even so, it was recommended to form a group to go into the dungeon. She heard about a sorceress who explored everything alone. Dato said that everything was fine and that she had enough skills and experience to explore alone. Toru replied that the girl had almost died when he found her. Toru said that he understood why Ria became an adventurer, but that sword was very important, but she didn't have it when she lost consciousness. Ria agreed and said that she would now tell about it and everything that happened before she met Toru. Some time ago, when Ria had not yet met Toru, the adventurers thanked Ria for her help. The girl replied that it was not necessary and that they were safe. Ria says goodbye to the guys and sees Dato, who was sitting at a table in the Adventurers Guild. The girl approaches Dato and slams her hands on the table. She greets Dato and asks her if she would like to join her party. Dato sighs and says that she has a curious night again. Ria asked Dato not to say that and asked her to go on a raid together. It would be safer and more effective than going alone. Dato said that it was Ria again with her guild leadership. She was also tired of hearing about it. Ria replied that it was not about that at all. Guild guidelines is the principle by which the Adventurers Guild maintains a high rating. For safety reasons, the guild recommends creating a party of several people before exploring a dungeon. Ria thought that she needed money, and if she didn't earn it, the children in the orphanage would grow up in poverty. However, Ria has only just finished, and one floor of the dungeon won't give much. The group of newbies lose hope already on the second floor. She wants to form a party with someone strong so she can get more money. She needs a party with someone who has already been to the 4th or 5th floor. Rhea asked that instead of drinking, why not join her party? Dato raises his voice and says that she does not want to join any squad. At this time, 2 young men sit down at the table. The dark-haired one sighs and says that both of them will not make it to the 3rd floor. The fair-haired youth says that they need to try hard to get at least to the 4th floor. The dark-haired youth says that, again, if they manage to do it, the rewards will be on another level. Rhea thought that the ideal squad is a group of at least 3 people: damage, defense, and support. These 2 look skilled, but there are only 2 of them. She is very curious about why this is. Rhea asks Dato about it. She also says that she hasn't seen them before, but they always go together. Dato agrees and says that Klain and Barney escaped from a neighboring country. As 2 deserters, she would never team up with guys who would be considered criminals in their home country. Rhea says she will go and try to talk to them. Dato is surprised and says the girl is not obliged. Rhea approaches the boys and asks if she can join their squad. The dark-haired boy was surprised and asked if Rhea was the curious knight. Barney asked Klain to shut up. Rhea said it was okay, but she thought she got that message a lot. Barney told the girl that now that the girl knew their names, what did she want? Rhea replied that she wanted to know why they became adventurers. Klain asked Barney to speak more quietly. Barney asked Klain to be quiet. He asked Rhea why she needed this information. Rhea replied that she hoped they would join her squad. The boys were surprised. Klain asked the girl if she understood what she had just said. If they ever returned to their homeland, they would be considered criminals. Everyone was surprised. Klain sat back down and said that, in any case, because of this, they couldn't join the girls' squad. Rhea spoke to Klain, asking if the boy regretted deserting. Klain replied that they had fled from battle. Rhea replied that she thought that was not a death sentence. Barney asked who cared what was wrong with a small party. They had no reason to refuse. Klain said that made sense. Barney replied that not to mention that they were invited by a beautiful woman, the boy should be punished for refusing such an offer. Rhea said that in that case it was an honor for her. The boys reciprocated. Dato looked at them suspiciously. After a while, each of them went to the dungeon in a good mood. Klain was a swordsman who was quite experienced. His strong swings were very good. Barney is a mage. He claimed to specialize in support magic, but his destructive magic was also quite good. Rhea was in the vanguard and blocked the enemy attacks. Klain dealt blows to them and Barney finished them off with his magic. It was a well-balanced squad. After some time, they were relaxing in a tavern. Klain said that today's raid was a great success. He just can't believe that they found such a rare artifact. Barney said it was because there were 3 of them. Arya seemed to be attracting Lady Luck. Rhea laughed and asked the boys not to talk nonsense. Barney said that in any case, behind Arya they were like behind a stone wall. Before her, he was tanking with 0 defensive skills. Naturally, everything started to go smoothly. Klain said that when the rats attacked them and started doing damage, Arya got into trouble because he didn't attack them right away. Barney replied that luckily he was able to mow them down with his magic. In any case, he thinks he's a good party member. Rhea said that's true and she thinks the boys are good. Rhea asked if it was possible that she had said something strange. Klain looked confused and said that everything was fine. He added that more importantly, he had been thinking and why didn't they go to the 5th floor. Rhea said it was too dangerous for them. It would be safer to stay on the 3rd and 4th floors. Klain said he thought they could, and besides, they would get more money on the 5th floor. Rhea thought about the money. She smiled and agreed. The girl added that in that case, why don't they find another person for the squad? Klain got angry and asked Rhea if she really thought anyone would want to join. Barney asked Klain not to say that. Klain apologized. Rhea asks why they don't try. Klain asks if that's really the case. Rhea says it would only be on the condition that they leave immediately if danger arises. Barney agreed and said that if things got too hot, he would beat them and drag them home if possible. After some time in the dungeon, Klain's sword broke. Klain got angry and said that it was a cheap piece of junk. He doesn't understand why there are so many goblins in the dungeon at the very beginning of the 5th floor. Klain said their territory was supposed to be further away. Barney said talking wouldn't help matters and now he's asking him to do something. Suddenly, the goblin attacks Klain, but Rhea appears in front of him and protects the boy with her shield. Rhea agrees with Barney and asks Klain to calm down. At this point, Barney uses the icy wind. The ice shards tie the goblin to the ground. Rhea throws her sword to Klein and asks him to catch it. Klein starts fighting and after a while says that it was the last goblin. Barney said that it was because he didn't take care of his sword. Klein said that Barney was right, but who knew that there would be well-armed goblins here. Rhea said that everything was as she said, it was too early for them to come here and it was time to retreat. Klein asked Rhea if he could keep the sword until they got out of here. The girl agreed because the young man had lost his. She said that they were counting on the young man. Klein thanked the young man and said that not to mention that the sword was very sharp. Rhea agreed and said that it was because it was made of mithril. Klein was surprised and asked if it was really a sword made of pure mithril. Rhea agreed and said that Monica gave her the sword. She used it while she was a knight. This sword holds many memories. Klein was surprised and said that he would be careful with him then. Suddenly, the unfinished goblin began to move behind them. He used the pipe and threw something towards the boys. Rhea noticed it and pushed Klein away. The dart hit Rhea's leg. Klein kills the goblin and then turns to her and asks if she is okay. Rhea apologizes to them and says it was a paralytic dart. Klein asked Barney to use purification magic. Barney tried but said it didn't work. He couldn't handle his level of magic. Klein asked Barney to continue healing her, then asked Barney if he could hear him. Barney said he needed to conserve his mana so they could get to the surface. Klein said that might be true, but they couldn't leave Rhea like that. Barney said that they would leave Rhea here then. Klein got angry. Barney said that they wouldn't survive to such deep levels. If they dragged her, they would be destroyed. Klein asked what they could do. Rhea said to stop and then told Klein that Barney was right. When a comrade stops moving, you need to take everything you need from him and quickly leave before the monsters regroup. The guild manual had a section on this kind of situation, and in the end, food and weapons are important. Barney takes the bag from Rhea. Barney said goodbye to Rhea and thanked her for everything. He turned to Klein and told him to say goodbye. Klein wanted to say something goodbye but told Rhea that they would see each other. Rhea told them to be careful. After a while, Rhea tried to get up. She said that she couldn't just sit around and wait for the monsters to come for her. There shouldn't be a place where she could hide. Rhea said that in this nook, if she could get to it, she could hide. She walked down the hallway and thought about Barney. He could at least protect her until they found a place where she could cope. Then she remembered Klein and said that he could have left her that sword. Hadn't she told him how much that sword meant to her? Even if she hides, she probably won't be saved by anyone. The girl apologizes to Monica and says that she is wounded in both body and soul. From there, Toru already knows that they left her deep in the dungeon without any weapons or food. She couldn't move because of the paralyzing poison eating away at her body. She was afraid of the dark and monsters. She was terrified of her impending death and sat down to cry. That's when Toru saved her. Toru was so kind to her. However, before he realized it, she was so scared of the dungeon that she couldn't even hold her sword. Dato said that another rumor she heard in the guild was that Klein had obtained Rhea's sword based on the Adventurers Guild principle. However, every time she asked for details, she only received bits and pieces of information. Rhea said that she was also to blame. She was so scared that she couldn't move, and so she didn't even think about their safety, although rather, she wished the opposite. Dato said that it was normal. That was what the girl was so worried about. Dato said that she was just in shock. She would take revenge on Klein for what he did to Rhea and give her back the girl's sword. Rhea said that Dato couldn't do that. The principles of the Adventurers Guild are upheld by the Kingdom of Francisca. Dato would be considered a criminal if caught. Dato replied that they can't forgive them. She asks what Toru thinks. Rhea asks the boy to answer. Dato turned to Toru again, whose hands were shaking. Toru said that he could not forgive them. He would take revenge on them. The girls realized that Toru had lost his temper. Rhea turned to Toru and said that even if he says so, there are still principles and laws of the guild. Toru says that the girl cannot forgive them and then asks what she is going to do. Dato asked the boy if he thought she didn't know that. Toru replied that he was going to let them experience the same horror that Rhea had experienced. Dato asked the boy to let her help. Suddenly Shizuku appears and asks the master if he will help her too. Rhea was scared that white slime appeared. Toru told the girl to get to work. From the cowards who made Rhea cry, they will return the girl's sword. Toru decides to talk about strategy. After some time, Dato, Brownie, and Klein were fighting on the floor, and Dato used the magic of the Inferno Mage. Brownie was surprised and said that it was as expected from Dato, a veteran adventurer. Klein said that it was quite reliable. Klein turned to the girl and said that she was so beautiful and simply had to join their team permanently. Dato laughed and said she would think about it. She herself thought about how the boys could say such things after leaving their ally and whether they were both such people. The impression they give is very different from Ria's words. Klein is so familiar that it becomes uncomfortable. On the contrary, sometimes Barney has a look as if he is judging people on their merits. Dato thought that Ria was a very kind-hearted person, so anyone would look good in her eyes. Klein turned to the girl and asked about her artifact and asked if it was really quite useful. Dato asked if the boy was really talking about the moonstone necklace. She agreed and said that even if they didn't have a torch or lantern, everything would still be bright. It was probably her most valuable artifact. Barney asked how much the artifact cost her and if it was worth a lot. Dato said it wasn't that expensive. Klein's sword looked much more valuable. Klein was surprised and asked if the girl really thought so. He said that it was a sword made of mithril, or rather pure mithril. Dato thought that this sword did not belong to Klein. It was a pity that she could not do it right now and would have to wait. Otherwise, she would ruin Toru's tactics that he had so carefully thought out. Toru said he wanted Dato to lead Klein and Barney down to the iron door in front of this room. Dato said if that's what he wanted, it would probably be easy. She thought they'd want to get to level 5 anyway. After a while, Barney asked Klein to stop. Klein asked the boy what was wrong. Dato thought Klein was a fool, but she didn't trust Barney. Barney said that all things considered, he honestly didn't think someone as capable as Dato would accompany them. Dato said that was a reasonable assumption. To ensure the success of Toru's strategy, Dato rose to the top again. She first posted a flyer on the guild's bulletin board. Barney and Klein approached Dato. Barney said that they saw an ad on the board that a girl was looking for a temporary team to earn some money. Barney said that was a rarity for Dato, who was rumored to always go alone. Dato said she had her own expenses. Anyway, she asked if the guys had talked about getting money. Barney said that on the 5th level of the dungeon there is a conversation about a funeral service. The phrase funeral service is slang among adventurers, which means that it is necessary to take the items of adventurers who died in the dungeon. It's literally the search for dead bodies. However, the equipment of dead adventurers is usually quite shabby. It often does not bring any profit. Dato said that there is no profit in the funeral service. Even if there are cases of unknown adventurers receiving a funeral service, it has never been done for former party members. Barney said that there is a great opportunity for a funeral service. There's a former knight's armor and a shield, so it could bring in a nice profit, and why not split it 3 ways? Dato thought she knew there were people who preferred this kind of taboo. The boys have experience in getting their hands on equipment as valuable as a pure mithril sword. They are nothing more than adventurers who have developed a taste for funeral services. As Dato thought, the two were looking for a 3rd member to get into the 5th floor. However, even though they had a bad reputation from the start, they are such a suspicious couple who somehow got Ria's sword. Dato thinks that they can't find any people except her. She asked where the knight's body was. Klein replied that it was Ria. If she knew that Dato had joined the group, she would be jealous. Dato laughs and tells Klein that he flatters her. Barney says that this is where Ria died, so he suggests searching the area. They didn't know where the armor was. Dato smiles and thinks that the rest is for Toru. She calls the guys and asks if Ria is lying there. The guys turned around and were quite shocked by what they saw. Dato pointed to the blonde on the ground and asked if it was Ria. The boys were surprised and asked how this could happen. Dato thought that this was supposed to confuse them. After a week without food or water, the body would look more decomposed. Dato smiled and asked if the girl had lived by chance. She asks the men just let them not tell her that they had fun with Ria and then betrayed her. Barney was surprised that she could be. Dato said she was joking. Ria is not alive and is just a corpse. She pushes them and tells them to finish. The boys approach Ria. Barney couldn't tell if she was really dead because she wasn't moving. Klein said that her skin color wasn't even pale. Dato said she wasn't sure she was dead. They would get a lot of money for that armor and shield when they got out. Dato said they should just take off the armor. Klein reaches out to the girl and apologizes to her. Suddenly, Rhea grabs his hand and calls out to Klain and Barney. The men are surprised. Barney asks Rhea if she is really still alive. Rhea says that she somehow survived and thanks the boys for coming to help. Klein asked if it wasn't okay to save your friends. Rhea replied that she was happy. Dato asked Klein what he was saying since they came to sell her shield and armor and split the money. Barney said he would prepare a separate reward for Dato. Dato said that if that was the case, she would keep quiet and expect at least 1,000. Rhea asked the young man what he meant. She said she didn't believe they had come to bury her. Barney said that it wasn't true and Dato was just saying weird things. Rhea said that she thought so because they were friends after all. The girl then turned to Klein and said that it was the girl's sword that he had picked up from the ground. She asked if the boy could return it to her. Barney said that the sword belonged to Klein. According to the guild's principles, if the girl survived, he had no obligation to return it. Rhea made a terrible face and apologized to the men. Suddenly, Toru pressed the button and the door from above began to descend. Barney and Klein were scared. Barney said that it was dangerous here and they had to run away from here. Suddenly, Rhea grabbed them by the legs. They asked the girl what she was doing and asked her to let go. Suddenly, Rhea started laughing and then showed her face to the boys. Her face was disfigured. She told the boys to return her sword of memories. The boys screamed and asked her to let them go. Rhea said that if they give her the sword back, but she would think about it. Klein agrees and says he will give it back. They start screaming and then fall unconscious. Toru comes up and says that they passed out. He turns to the girls and says that he is happy for them and that they did a great job. Dato said that she was very angry at men. Shizuku added that slime can last too. Toru was surprised that Klein and Barney had wet pants. He decides to take a picture of them and then asks Dato to wait a bit. After a while, he tells the girl that he wants her to write a letter. The girl agrees and writes a note. The boy leaves the sword and says that they will now return to the room. After a while, the boy looks at the monitor in the camera. Dato says that she thinks that Klein and Barney noticed. They read a note that if they returned to that dungeon again, they would suffer until their last breath. Dato was impatient with Toru's note and their photo. In the end, they ran away. Toru says that he hopes they never see them again. He then stands up and goes to the room where Rhea was sitting. Rhea asked if they were finished yet. Toru agreed, then handed the sword to the girl and said that it was hers. The girl took the sword with a shaking hand, then hugged it and started crying. She said that this was the sword that Monica gave her. The girl asked Toru what he would do if she was stuck and couldn't move. Toru replied that even if he had to carry her back, he would try to escape together, even if the monsters killed him too. The girl smiled and then approached Toru. The boy was surprised, but the girl approached him. Rhea said that she knew the boy would say that. Toru told Rhea that he needed to tell her something. He confessed that he was not a great sage. He apologized for lying. Rhea said that she had already thought about it. She knew it, but she enjoyed life with Toru, continued to accept his kindness. She's the one who should apologize for the inconvenience. Toru said that it didn't bother him because he wanted to be near the girl. Rhea asked the boy what in any case who he was. Toru replied that it would be difficult to explain. Rhea said that she understood everything and it did not matter to her who Toru was. Suddenly, Rhea kneels down and bows to the boy. She says that until she dies, she will be the knight of Toru. Toru asked her to wait a little. He can't accept it because it's too sudden. Rhea replies that if that's the case, then she wants Toru to marry her. As a knight or a wife, she wants to be with the boy. It is pointless, so she asks the boy to be her master or husband, but the latter is better. Toru replies that perhaps as a knight he would like to rely on a girl while traveling in this world. Rhea pouts. She said that she believed that her loyalty and sword belonged to Toru. There were other adventurers and Toru was free to choose Dato and Shizuka. However, she tells the young man that if he sees her as his bride, she will be waiting for it with joy. After some time, Rhea was in the dungeon. She inhales and then uses a combination attack. Rhea realizes that her swordsmanship has not dulled. Then she exhales. Toru comes out and says that the door is open. He told the girl that it was a great job. Rhea turns to Toru. After getting her mithril sword back, she swings it around the dungeon every day to get a feel for it again. It seems she has overcome her trauma and is back to her usual cheerful self. Toru says that dinner is ready and they can eat together. Dato hums a song and asks what they are having for lunch today. Toru says that they are having sukiyaki for lunch today. Toru said that he made it especially because they didn't have time to eat properly. Shizuku said that it smelled nice and Ria said that it looked delicious. Toru invites the girls to begin. They thanked the young man for the food and then began to eat. The girls said that the taste was amazing and smelled very delicious. The meat in the dish was so tender and sweet. Toru said that it was because the beef was good. It would taste better if mixed with rice. He tells Shizuku to open her mouth and take the food. Ria said that it would take at least 2 days to get out of the dungeon and to the surface and what food they would take with them. Dato said that she and Ria would deal with the monsters, so Toru should take care of the food. Toru agreed. Dato said it would be bad if the food was heavy. Toru told her not to worry, they would look forward to what he brought. After a while they come out into the dungeon and Toru buried the door with the key. Toru said that it was time to go up to the surface. Ria asked Toru what the boy was doing in front of the wall. The boy said that he was locking the front door. Dato asked if that was really the case. To her, it looked like he was doing something in front of a stone wall. Since people in this world can't see the apartment door, maybe there's no need to lock it. If anything had gotten in here, something unique would have happened, and besides, there's nothing wrong with being careful. Dato takes the key and hides it in an interesting place. Toru asked her to wait and asked if it wasn't strange. Dato asked the young man not to worry because she won't lose it and he is completely safe. He takes the keys from Dato and gives them to Ria. The girl says that the young man can count on her. Dato is surprised. Suddenly Ria tells Toru that she can see the door. Toru and Dato are surprised. Dato asks how that is possible since she can't see anything. Shizuku said that she didn't see anything either and then asked if Ria really saw a door there. Ria agreed and said that it was the door leading to Toru's room. Toru was surprised that Ria suddenly saw the door. He asks Dato to take the key. Dato takes it and says that she sees the door and it's all because of the key. Toru asked Ria to see if she could open the door with the key. Ria said she would try. Ria approaches the door and asks if she really just needs to insert it into the hole and turn it. Toru agrees. Suddenly, Ria opens the doors. Toru thinks he was right. Since people from their world like Ria can see the door with the key, then they can open it too. Then maybe there is something. He enters the house and asks the girls to come with him. They enter the room and are surprised to see Japan in the window. Toru said that they can now see that they are outside the room. Ria said that this is Toru's world. Dato said that she has seen this street before and this is Toru's world. Toru asked Dato to give the key to Shizuku. Shizuku said that she can see it and that is the view from the outside. Toru was surprised that the key had such an effect. He turned to Ria and told her to promise that she would never lose the key. Then he says that now they will calm down a little and still start to get to the surface. Dato is left behind. Dato called Toru and said that she wanted one key. Toru was surprised and said that they were going to go to their world. Besides, he only gave it to Ria for safekeeping and isn't it similar? He asks the girl to let Ria keep it. Ria said that she also wants one key. Toru told Ria that she can keep it. Ria asked if it was true and she was very happy. Dato asked why only Ria should get the key. She said it was favoritism. Toru said he wanted one too. Toru said they could get duplicates from the locksmith. Dato asks about the mechanic and says that they will go straight to him. Shizuku also calls Toru to go now. Toru realizes that they need to hurry. After some time, Toru went to pick up 2 duplicate keys. The man said that the 2 duplicates would be ready by 8:30. Toru thanked him. Toru then goes outside and calls out to Dato and Ria, but suddenly notices a crowd of people around them. He lends them some simple clothes. He understands that Ria and Dato are very beautiful, so it's not surprising. They don't look Japanese. He thinks that no one will be rude to them. Everyone seems to just watch from the side. No one knows that it is a knight and a sorceress from another world. He takes the girls by the hand and says that they are going to go now. At the moment, they have time until the keys are ready, so they must do something. Ria said that this might puzzle the boy, but she wants to know more about the boy's world. Dato said that she went out at night, so she would like to see something new. Shizuku agrees and says that she also wants to explore this world. Toru said that since they are leaving tomorrow, they can take a little walk. The girls agree. The girls see buildings that are so tall that they block the sky. They ride faster than any horse and there are so many people. Dato said that it's not only that, there are also many delicious things here. She will give her recommendations to Rhea. Toru thinks that he doesn't know any other recommendations except pancakes. He doesn't know what they would like. Rhea says she doesn't have the money of this world. Dato says it's okay and Toru will take care of it. Toru is surprised. Then Toru agreed and told the girls to leave it to him. After a while, he buys the girls pancakes. Rhea tries and enjoys the food. Dato says that Rhea has cream on her face. Then they buy more fish-shaped goodies. Then the girls notice a lot of people wearing different clothes. Rhea agrees and says that they all look so fashionable. The girls turn to Toru and say that they want to try something on. After some time, the boys arrive at a women's clothing store. The girls change their clothes and then go out to the boy and ask him what he thinks of his clothes. Toru said that both girls looked really beautiful. Rhea said that she wanted to try on the next set of clothes. Dato agreed and said that she would try on another set of clothes. The girls try on new looks. Dato had very daring costumes and Rhea had gentle and elegant ones. Toru realizes that this is some kind of feast for his eyes, no matter what they are wearing. Rhea then gives the girl a set of clothes and asks about it. Dato says that it does not suit her. Rhea says that's not true and it would definitely look great on her. Dato agrees and says that she will try on the set and she needs to get naked. Dato puts on a delicate lingerie set and asks Toru how she looks. Toru blushes. Dato asks if it really looks weird. Toru says it looks nice and suits her very well. Rhea said that it looks very cute. Rhea then asks Dato to try on the next cute sets. After some time, the girls bought new sets of clothes. Toru said that he was glad if they had fun. At least in the other world, he could find some gold coins. Then they walk around the city. The girls say that Japan is really developed and looks so peaceful. Rhea asks the boy if there are wars here. Toru replies that there haven't been any for 70 years. Dato says that even if she is so advanced, she does not see demi-humans or elves. She asks if this is really such a country. Toru says that first of all, there are simply no half-humans or elves in this world. The girls asked the boy if it was possible that he was joking. Dato asked if humans had exterminated other races. Toru replied that he had never heard of them fighting half-elves or half-humans. Dato said that was what she was wondering. Toru replied that there were indeed myths about giants, demons, and such, but he did not think those stories were true. Dato said that she believed the boy. Dato apologized to the boy. Toru asked what the girl was apologizing for. Dato replied that she was apologizing for her selfish request with the key. Rhea also apologized. After all, this was Toru's house. Toru said that it was okay. He also wanted girls to be able to come to him anytime. He wanted to show him more of Japan. The girls thank the boy. Toru says how about taking the keys and going to another world. After some time, they all receive keys for each. They open the door because it is time to get out of the dungeon to the surface in another world. The heroes arrived at the Yomi labyrinth on the 5th floor. Toru was scared when he saw the huge monsters. Suddenly, Rhea and Dato appeared right in front of him. The girls rushed into battle. Toru exhaled and said that it scared him a little. Dato smiled and told the boy not to be so tense. Toru replied that it was natural for him to be tense. After all, there were no monsters in Japan. Dato said that with the boys' level, a couple of giant rats shouldn't be a problem. Toru said that if the girl said so, then maybe. He reached level 10, but he can't tell whether his stats are high or not. Then the boy realizes that he has learned the character evaluation skill and wonders if he will see the girl's stats if he uses this skill. Dato decides to try. The boy uses the character evaluation skill and sees the characteristics of Dato and Arya. The boy says that the girls have some high levels. Toru replies that he can't see all of the girls' characteristics. Dato replies that it's because of his low skill level. He'll be able to see more if he increases his skill. Toru thought that Dato's level had really increased. Her level cap was originally 47, but after they had been close twice, it had gone up. In her free time, she was grinding with a clicker. He thinks that the girl leveled up just like that. As for Rhea, her level is lower than Dato's, but her maximum level is higher. Toru asks Rhea if her level cap hasn't increased recently. Rhea says that it has, but he doesn't know why. The girl asks Toru if she knows anything. Toru wants to explain something, but suddenly Dato appears and asks the boy if he and Rhea really did that. She says that since that time, the boy has never done that to her. After a while, they began to move through the dungeon. Rhea was in the lead, the mage Dato was in the center, and Taro and Shizuku were bringing up the rear. Finally, they reached the 4th floor and asked if this was really the shortest route. Dato said that it was, and it was fast. Taro said that walking for 4 hours while fighting monsters was not very fast. Rhea says it's pretty quick to get to the boys' room. She had to wander around for about half a day before the poison knocked her out. Dato says she's traveled to and from the surface a lot, so she's used to it. Taro asks if they should rest a bit. It's just lunch time. Dato says the boy is right and there is a fountain not far from here, so they can get there. The boy asks how far it is and Dato says an hour's journey. Then they started to make their way through various obstacles. Then they came out into some room. Taro said that it was quite easy to move here. The roots did not interfere and it was spacious. Dato says that they have reached the fountain and then shows the fountain to the boy. He looks and realizes that it is a fountain. Suddenly, he notices people in the corner of the room and realizes that they are people from another world. Taro said that they look strong and Shizuka agreed with them. Taro says that Shizuku is a white slime and maybe we should hide her from people. Dato says that everything is fine, at least for now. The Adventurers Guild forbids parties from attacking each other. It's better not to provoke the guild. Dato said that these guys are not very strong. Taro asks if that is really the case. Dato said that if the boy is really interested, he can see for himself and asked not to look at the characteristics of the red-haired boy. Taro asked why. Dato said that he looked like a thief and might have detection skills. He might notice that the boy was looking at his stats. It might cause them trouble. Then she would check the guy with the scar. Taro says he's level 12, only 2 levels above Taro. Dato says he's so-so then. He made it to level 10, so he's pretty average. He became an adventurer about 3 years ago. Fighting even one monster while below level 10 is tantamount to suicide. Killing a giant centipede at that level is simply unheard of. Yet the young man managed to do it in the comfort of his room by simply pressing a button. Taro said that they already knew that they weren't very strong. Dato said that she could tell just by looking at them. Taro said that it was as expected of an experienced adventurer. Taro decides to have a snack. Rhea asks if Taro really made it himself. Taro says it's the least he can do since he can't fight. He brought a bunch of stuff. Dato says she's looking forward to it. Taro says they'll eat first. Since they have a fountain, they don't have to worry about water, so he takes out the instant noodles. The young man decides to heat water in a saucepan, then add noodles, broth, and dried vegetables. Then he needs to wait a little and the food is ready. Dato was surprised that the food was ready so quickly. Rhea said it smelled great and then asked what it was. Taro said that this is the best miso. Rhea said that it is something like soup and she really likes the miso soup that Taro makes. Taro said it tastes like miso, but it's ramen. Taro says it's time to eat. The girls thank the boy for the food. Then the boy starts blowing on the noodles and carefully eats them. The girls watch this process carefully and then try to eat it themselves. Suddenly, they all say at once that it is delicious. Rhea said it was delicious and had such a flavor despite the cooking time. Dato agreed. Suddenly, Dato notices the other adventurers staring at him. Taro thinks that they are sipping too loudly and the smell is too strong. Taro asks what adventurers usually eat in the dungeon. Dato replies that at best it's dried fruit and meat and salted fish. At worst, it's stale bread softened with water. Taro thinks that sounds cruel. Suddenly, Taro takes out a pot and another pack of ramen. Rhea asks Taro if he really wants more food. Taro says he thinks they should share the food with the other adventurers. Dato says the boy shouldn't do that. Rhea says it's a great idea and she wants to help too. Taro thanks her. He pours the food into glasses. Dato says that the girl really thinks it's better not to do that. Taro says that the girl can stay here and look after Shizuku. He then approaches the adventurers and says hello. The scarred man is surprised. Taro realizes that they clearly don't trust them. Taro says that they accidentally made too much soup, so he offers them some. The adventurers are surprised. The man with the scar asks how much the food costs. Taro replies that they don't need anything from the adventurers and then hands them glasses of soup. The adventurers look at each other. Taro doesn't understand what's going on, but suddenly the man asks if it's poisoned. The man then asks the boy why he speaks the language of monsters and has so many strange artifacts, and besides, it is the first time they see such food. Toru remembered that he forgot his Japanese. Toru says that aren't they fellow adventurers and would they attack them? He didn't poison the food. The man says that the guild won't know what happened in the dungeon. After all, dead men don't talk. Then speaking of the dead, they look at Arya and ask if this isn't the omnipresent knight Arya. The girl agrees. The man says that Rhea helped him before, but he heard that Arya was dead. Toru realizes that Arya is considered dead on the surface. Arya says that she is alive. Toru thinks about a guy with strange artifacts who speaks the language of monsters, a night girl who came back from the dead, food that no one has ever seen. He doesn't think it will work. Toru says that if they are so suspicious, they can just throw the food away as they wish. He turns around and leaves. The man says hesitantly that he will eat it. Toru turns around and is surprised. The man says that the smell and sounds and he can't resist. He may die, but it doesn't matter. He tries the food and then says that it is incredibly delicious. Toru is surprised and asks if it is really delicious. The man smiles and says that it is simply amazing. The adventurers look at the man warily and then begin to taste the food as well. They are surprised that it is very tasty. Suddenly, the red-haired boy shouted at them not to eat everything. Toru was surprised and wondered why the boy said that, since he didn't add any poison. The young man said that if they softened their bread in this soup, it would be much tastier. The adventurers were delighted and began to taste the food. Then Toru bids them farewell and they leave. After a while, Dato said that she was surprised and didn't think that they would actually eat it. It's probably good that Toru is so happy. Toru said that he doesn't know if Dato is praising him or vice versa. Rhea asked the boy what he was holding. Toru said that those guys gave him these flowers as a thank you. Dato asked about the flower, then was surprised and said if it was really an ancient tree flower. Toru asks if it was really rare, since those adventurers had many of them. Dato says that this flower is an ingredient for a medium potion. Although they are in high demand, she has heard that very few adventurers know where to gather them. Some people have knowledge of such profitable things and hide it from others. In other words, this is a message from those guys that there is a place on this floor where the flowers of the ancient tree grow and he should look for them. It seemed like the best reward for the miso soup. Rhea said that they seemed to really appreciate it. Shizuka said that it was wonderful. Dato said that the boy should treat them to something delicious next time. The young man looks at the beautiful flower and says that he will treat them next time. After some time, the heroes arrive at the third floor of Yomi. Toru is surprised to see a castle in the dungeon. Dato agrees and asks if the young man is really surprised. A few decades ago, when this dungeon was found, this castle caused quite a stir. It was simply filled with gold things, so adventurers filled this place. A real gold rush. After a while, several skeletons appeared. Toru was very surprised, and then Rhea rushed into battle. She easily cuts these skeletons. Dato asks if they are really skeletons. Toru says that skeletons must be pretty strong. Dato asks how they can be strong since they have no muscles and are unarmed. And then she asked if they weren't perfect for his training. Toru asks if he can handle them. Dato said that if the boy relied only on the click strategy, even if his level increased, his technique and combat sense would not improve. Toru agreed with her. Rhea said that she would carry their things and the boy could use her shield. Toru says that the shield is very heavy and to carry something like that all the time you have to be incredibly strong. Rhea asks if the boy really doesn't like strong girls. Dato asked them to stop filtering everything. Toru thought he had no choice. After a while, the young man dealt with several skeletons. He thought they were weak, but there were so many of them. Suddenly, Toru stumbles, but Rhea catches him. The girl asks the boy if he is okay. Toru agrees, but as expected, he is already quite tired of all this. Rhea smiles and says that they are almost to the place where they can set up camp, so she asks the girl to be patient a little longer. After a while, they arrive at the right place. Someone tells Toru's group that there is a free place downstairs. Dato thanks him. They come to the prison cells, but here they will calm down. Rhea said that here they do not need to worry about monsters attacking. Dato agreed and said that there are also adventurers hired by the guild who are watching this place. They enter the cell. Toru says he is tired. Rhea replies that they will continue on another day so the boy can rest a little at night. They eat oatmeal and then go to bed. The next day the boys wake up and start having breakfast. They are about to continue their journey, going up the stairs. They enter Yomi's labyrinth on the second floor. Toru says it was a bit of a surprise to see a castle underground, but so was the forest. It's quite light here, and he doesn't believe they're actually underground. Dato said that the light moss grows in ancient forests. Toru says that he doesn't even need a flashlight. They make their way through the forest, and during lunch, Dato turns to Toru. Dato says that they will soon reach the first floor. He and Shizuku should be especially careful. Toru asks why. Dato says that the first floor is home to those who have no place on the surface. Quite a few criminals live there, so turf wars are not uncommon. As in most slums, on the ground floor, several powerful groups fight for power and territory. The Thieves Guild makes its living by pickpocketing. The Merchants Guild specializes in selling goods on the black market, and a guild that has only recently gained power is the Mercenaries Guild, which performs tasks that require brute force. Toru said that this place looks pretty dangerous. Dato said that, to be honest, the only thing he needs to watch out for is the Mercenary Guild. Toru was surprised and asked if the Thieves Guild wouldn't cause them more trouble. Ria replied that Toru was right and the Thieves Guild was dangerous too. Dato says that the Thieves Guild only targets nobles or wealthy merchants and they have no reason to touch them. The House of Kaja are also quite skilled robbers. Ria says it's a real shame, but it's probably because they kept bringing in kids who aren't part of the Thieves Guild. It's a pretty unusual house, so a few minor robberies can't be helped. Ria said that everything is fine as long as they are in the shelter. Dato said that they don't even accept all of them. Toru asked, what about the Merchant Guild? Dato can't say anything good or bad about them, but she would be grateful if they sold them something useful for the journey, like food, weapons, or armor, but on the other hand, she heard that they were involved in forbidden things. Dato said that they are people who also need things, so she thinks that it is a guild of necessary evil. Ria said that there was a rumor in the guild bar that Dato visits the Merchant Guild and various gambling houses. The boy asks about the mercenaries. The girls say they are bad. From what Dato heard on the first floor, they seem to be extortionists under the guise of protection. They will harass aspiring adventurers, posing as escorts. And then they take away everything they get in their expedition. She also heard that they control the convenient route to the lower floors and attack all adventurers passing through there. Toru thinks that they are very similar to the Yakuza. Adventurers and the like would refuse such a thing. Dato says that is true, but if they do that, they will be in the minority. If possible, they should be avoided and they will leave them alone. Toru says that he is a little worried about them going up to the first floor. Shizuku agrees with the boy. Dato says that the boy looks unusual. Shizuku is a rare white slime and they have a high chance of being discovered. Toru says that they can transform Shizuku into his clothes. Dato asks about it. Ria says that someone could use the equipment appraisal skill on Toru's clothes because they are unusual. They might find Shizuka if they do that. Toru says that Shizuku can become something that will allow him to blend in with the locals. Toru asks Shizuku if she remembers what the people on the fourth floor were wearing. The girl agrees. Toru asks her to try becoming an adventurer's equipment. Shizuku agrees and acquires the armor form. Toru asks the girls if he can go in it. He can hide Shizuku like that. Shizuku said the armor looks great on him. Ria says that the boy looks like an experienced adventurer. Dato agrees with her. Toru adds that it would look a bit strange if his weapon was a pickaxe, so it would be better if it was an iron sword. Dato says that's fine. When they get to the first floor, they'll buy a sword. Toru asks if that's really the case. They set off. After a while, the boys arrive at Yomi's labyrinth on the first floor. Toru said that he had heard, of course, from stories, but the atmosphere here is more relaxed than he thought. Ria replies that this Hona is in the Merchant Guild's territory. It is still the best part of the city. Toru asks if this is true. Suddenly, someone calls out to the young man. He turns around and sees many beautiful girls elves who call him and ask if he wants to play with them. Shizuku says that Dato and Ria are looking at the master. Toru said that it was the first time he saw other elves besides Dato. Dato said that they are the most common elves that can be found anywhere, and she is a high elf. The girl asked not to put her on the same level as these scoundrels working here. Then they walk around the city. Toru asks if there could be a weapons shop here. He asks the girl if she will buy him a sword. Dato agrees and says that if it is not too expensive. They enter the shop and look at the swords. Dato points at the swords and says that these look pretty good. Toru says that this shine and this hardness, without a doubt, a great sword. The male merchant says that the boy has excellent taste. They buy a sword. Dato said that she can't believe that the man sold them the sword for only half the market price and that it was a good deal. Ria asks the boy if she can examine the sword a little. Toru asks how it is and if it is cool for its price. Ria says that it is just an iron rod and then says that part of the blade is also too thick and such a sword will not even cut paper. Toru says that the girl is right. Ria smiled and said it was just a beautiful dull sword with a polished surface. Toru said he was wondering why it was so cheap. Dato said it was just a prop and it was okay because it was cheap. Then Toru sees a line and asks what kind of store it is since there are quite a lot of people there. Dato says it's one of the unloading stores. Toru asks what they trade. Dato says anything from the surface, loot, and dungeons stolen for illegal sale. Anything will do as long as it's worth something. Dato points at the boy and asks what about him. Dato said that it seemed like the boy found something unpleasant and that the guy was from the mercenary guild. Toru asked about the boy and asked about the man next to him. Dato pointed to a tattoo of swords and a shield on the man's face. She said it was the mark of a mercenary guild. Dato told Toru to never start a fight with them. At that moment, Ria approached the man and asked if he was selling it. The man agreed and asked what was wrong. Ria said that if so, she would buy it and asked the price. Dato asked Ria to stop. Ria approached the boy and said that he was safe now. The boy agreed. Toru asked what Ria planned to do with him. Ria said that she would take him to an orphanage that she supported. The boy asked about the orphanage. The young man said that they couldn't. His younger sister would be left alone in the mercenary guild. He and his sister lived here, but then the mercenary guild took them away. The man chuckled and said that it was bad that they were hanging around in their territory. The boys start to get angry. Ria says that's why she says she's buying them. Dato pulls out a bag of money and tells them not to cause more problems. The man says he doesn't need Dato's change. If he sells it to a men's establishment through a convenience store, he can get twice as much as Dato can give him. Toru gets angry and Dato says that she asked them not to get into a fight. If the boy gets into a fight with the mercenary guild on the first floor, then exploring the dungeon will become much more difficult. At this point, she takes out the boy's sword. She asks if they don't want this, then hits the man over the head with the dull blade of her sword. Dato says she didn't want this. The man says they'll pay for it. He whistles and suddenly the boys are surrounded by a huge number of people. Toru says that there are more and more of them. Ria says that they keep coming and what should they do anyway. Dato says that they are surrounded and have no choice, so they need to break through. At this time, some girl behind the wall was holding an incomprehensible ball. The next moment she throws the ball into the crowd and it explodes, spreading a huge amount of smoke. Toru doesn't understand what it is and starts coughing. Suddenly, someone grabs his hand and starts dragging him along. Toru doesn't understand what it is and he can't see well because of the smoke in his eyes, but he feels like someone is pulling him. Suddenly, he notices that the girl has a tail. The men were in the smoke and did not understand where the boys had gone. One of them said that they could not have gone far. He ordered the men to find them. At this time, Toru was running along some narrow streets. He was already quite out of breath. Toru thought that he didn't know what it was, but this girl with a tail saved him. Then the girl stopped and said that they were safe here. Toru wondered if it was possible that this iron door was some kind of secret place. The girl called someone and, calling herself a cat, ordered them to open the door. Someone behind the door asked for the password. The girl said steal from fat pigs. Then the door started to open. The girl said they would hide there for now. Toru thanked her, but his two comrades and the boy remained there. The girl said they were safe. They pulled them out separately to knock off their tails. They agreed to meet here. The boy walked through the door. The girl told the man in the cloak to contact headquarters. The man agreed. The boy entered a room with a large number of wooden boxes. Toru thought that this place was used as a warehouse, but from the inside it looked like that. The girl exhaled. The girl took off her hood and told the boy to sit down somewhere. Toru asked about the cat ears. The girl asked what happened. She asked if the boy really didn't like being saved by a half-human. Toru said of course not, but he was just surprised. Toru thanked her for saving him and his friends. He asked her why she did all this. The girl said that their original task was to save Nick, but the guys just happened to be nearby. Toru thought it was a boy's name. He mentioned that he and his sister were involved with the Thieves Guild. Toru said that it meant a girl from the Thieves Guild. The girl agreed and asked if it wasn't obvious. Toru thought he should have realized that. He thought the guy had a similar hood. The girl said that the boy should know that guilds can't just start a fight in public. They, the boys, had done them a big favor by turning the attention to themselves. She thanked the boy. Then she smiled and said that his girlfriend had saved them a lot of trouble by hitting that thug on the head. The girl asked the boy what his name was. Toru introduced himself and the girl said that everyone called her Kot. She wanted to thank them for saving Nick and asks the boy if there is anything he needs. Toru said that he does not need anything. They have already helped them a lot getting them out of this mess. The cat said that they, the boys, had already helped them by just starting the fight. She wanted to thank the boy separately for that. The boy said that if that was the case, he could ask the girl for something. The cat asked him to just say it. Toru asked if he could have this room then and if he really didn't need anything here. The girl was surprised by the unusual request. Toru thinks that this room has a similar iron door and the interior is similar to the one in front of his room. There is a possibility that this place can be connected to his room. The girl apologized and said that she couldn't give the room to the boy. It wasn't something she could decide on her own. Toru agreed. Toru asks about how about he inspect the room. The cat asks about the inspection and asks why he needs it. Toru thinks about what to say and realizes that he looks suspicious. The cat asks if it is possible that the boy is just a scientist. She says that now that she thinks about it, the boy really doesn't seem like an adventurer, so he speaks the language of monsters. The boy agrees. The girl says that the young man can look around as much as he wants and she will go with him. The young man thanks her. He begins to look around the room carefully. Suddenly, the girl turns to the boy and asks him if he really doesn't like demi-humans. Toru asks her why she's asking that. The girl replies that many people do not like half-humans. Toru thought that this is normal for this world and he did not know. Toru says that on the contrary, everyone in his area loves half-humans. He then turns to the girl and asks if Cat is her real name. The girl replies that it is a nickname. Toru wondered what the nickname meant. Is she using this name because she hates humans? He thinks that maybe by looking at her characteristics, he will find out her real name. He decides to evaluate the character and realizes that he can't see her status. Suddenly, the cat turns to Toru and asks if he really tried to see her stats. Toru says that he just wanted to know her real name, and he was thinking about how thieves can tell when an evaluation is used on them because of their skill detection. The girl said that since the boy tried to look at her characteristics, he would look at her. She would tell the boy to know that her character evaluation was quite high, and she would know everything. The girl looks and starts laughing and says that the boy has a funny name. She says that it is a strange name, and where did he even come from? The girl says that unlimited growth is very cool. He even has some hidden unique skills. Toru is surprised by the unique hidden skills. The girl says that the skill is to approach the girl and raise her level limit by 1 to 3 times a day. The boy thought that this was too long a skill name. Toru thought it was the effect of this skill. Suddenly, the cat knocks Toru to the floor and asks the boy to let her test his skill. The girl approaches him. The girl says that she did it and her level limit went up by 1. Toru says that the girl already checked and could she please get off her. The girl asks if they can do it. Toru says he refuses. The girl turns to Toru and says she thinks he doesn't like half-humans. Toru says he likes them. Toru thought that the girl had pleased him 3 times. He asked her to finish and get off him. The girl asked the boy if he felt that it was a little hot here. Toru was surprised. The girl says that her name is Miriam and the boy can call her Miri and him Toru. The boy asks her to stop and asks why she is taking off her belt. The girl said that didn't 3 touches of lips make him want something. Toru got scared and said that it wasn't like that at all. The girl asked if it was really so, but another part of him was ready to do it. She was glad that the boy was so excited even from a half-human. He couldn't do anything about it. Suddenly they hear a voice behind the door saying how soon they will get to Toru. Ria said that if something happened to him, she will destroy the Thieves Guild. Dato told Ria that these people are helping them. The man said they were almost there. Toru realized they were heading straight here. Toru thought that they would be in trouble if they saw them. He panicked and asked Miri to get off him because people were coming. The girl said that she couldn't hold back and couldn't stop. The boy turned to the cat and gave the password. Toru told the girl that he had given the password and the girl had to answer. The cat said that they had come to the best part. Suddenly she shouted that they were busy now and asked them to come later. Toru was surprised and so was Ria. Ria asked what the girl was talking about and asked her to let them see Toru. Dato turned to Toru and asked what happened. Miri told Toru to leave them and have some fun. Ria turned to Dato and told her to blow up the door with magic in that case. Toru thought it was crazy. Toru asked Miri to move and grabbed her by a part of her body. The girl said that the boy was so rough and finally wanted it too. Toru pushed her away. He threw the cloak over her and pressed the button. Toru greeted the boys and said that he was glad they were okay. Dato said that the boy had also run away. Ria replied that she had heard some strange voices and was the boy okay. Toru replied that everything was fine. Dato said what about Miri? She said they were busy or something. Toru said she was a little busy cleaning. He suggests they go inside and wait for a while. Later, Toru said that he was wondering what happened to them, so he's glad they made it here. Ria agreed and said that they still had problems. It would be dangerous for them to be seen by the mercenary guild. Dato said that the guy from the Thieves Guild came out to look around for us and they would leave this place when everything was clear. Toru agreed and said that the Thieves Guild was on their side. Maybe there were routes to the surface and the second floor that they could access from the Thieves Guild's territory. He asked if they knew. Ria gave a negative answer and Dato agreed with her. Toru turned to Miri and asked her. The girls asked if Miri was okay. She looked like she had a cold or something. Toru said that they should look for a way to get to the surface. Miri is surprised and asks if Toru is really going to the surface. Toru says that unlike the people here on the first floor, they don't need to live here. Miri says that if that's the problem, it might be beneficial for them to join the Thieves Guild. Miri said that if they joined the guild, they would also be protected by a non-aggression pact with the Mercenary Guild for a time. In addition, they would be able to use the infrastructure and routes of the Thieves Guild. Dato said that wasn't so bad. Ria asked what she was talking about. Becoming part of a Thieves Guild was unthinkable. She was sure that it was a guild of lovers who robbed for profit. She would take this boy and his younger sister with her to the surface and hand them over to the orphanage. Dato turned to Ria and told her that she should know that it was dangerous to bring the children with them. They had just escaped from the Mercenary Guild, thanks to the thieves. They should leave the children with them. Ria said that they teach children to steal. In addition, they do not even receive a proper education. Miri said that children who have lost their children come to their guild themselves just hearing about them. She also doesn't think that children should necessarily join them, but the guys are adults and it's not up to them to decide. She saw Ria's look and said that she thought that since the mercenaries were after Nick, he would be safer on the surface. Ria said that it was decided then and they would go to the surface with Nick and his sister when everything settled down. After a while, Toru said that as Miri had said, they would need a safe route to get to the surface with the children. He asks Miri if she could help them with that. Miri asked if they could just relax for a day. Toru apologized and said they were in a hurry. Miri asked what about exploring this room. Toru says that they will come back later once they finish their business on the surface. Suddenly, a voice came from behind the door and addressed the girl. She said that it was open. The young man came up and told the cat that the people from the Mercenary Guild had left. Then she whispered something to him. Toru thought she was telling the boy that they would be taking Nick's sister with them as well. She turns and says that it seems their boss wants to thank them for saving Nick. Toru said that they had to go. Suddenly, Dato covered Toru's mouth and told him to shut up and not to say anything thoughtless. The young man wanted to refuse their boss's invitation. People like that usually take honor seriously. They'll get into trouble if they upset their boss. The Thieves Guild has 800 members, the boy knew. She asked if he really wanted to make them his enemies. Especially after they went through so much to save them. He says that it's not in their best interest to see them at their worst. In fact, if they like them, moving around will be a lot easier. Toru agrees and says that they'll meet him. Then they walk through the city. Miri tells Toru that she doesn't look very good. Toru agrees. The girl replies that their guild has more people than the merchants, but when they start trading, they don't do it very well. She asks what it looks like from a scientist's perspective. Toru says that the city may need to be redesigned. Miri asks what that means. Toru says that where he comes from, redevelopment involves pouring huge amounts of resources into older areas to make them more livable. He thinks of it as a kind of renovation to saddle up with something more modern. Miri thinks about it. Toru says that in his hometown, modernization is being done to improve life, but he thinks that the biggest problem on the first floor is the lack of public order. In that case, maybe they could build a large apartment building that also has shops and restaurants. Then they could set up a security system that would keep criminals out. Ria said that sounded great. The kids would always feel safe. Dato added that if all went well, there would be more visitors from the surface. Miri asked Toru to tell her more about this redevelopment. After some time, Toru tells her everything. Miri says that they should cooperate with the people on the surface to develop the area. Dato says that she thinks that if they team up with a large group, they can defeat the Merchant Guild. Toru agrees and adds that he thinks they have a good chance of establishing cooperation if they offer them the right to trade on the first floor. Miri thanked Toru and said that he now had hope for this place. Toru said that he thought they would face a lot of difficulties when they started working on it. Miri said that they would do their best. Toru thought that in addition to taking care of the children, Miri is also in charge of the guild. Is she really that important? Then Miri says that they have arrived. They arrived at the headquarters of the Thieves Guild. A girl with glasses greets the guests and thanks them for coming. She introduces herself as the secretary of the leader Nola. She also says that the leader would like to thank them, so he invites them inside. He then says that Kat and Nick will wait here. The girl asks them to go into the room. There was a bed with a girl on it. It was their leader Dorothea II. Toru realizes that the leader is indeed a girl. He greets her and says it's nice to meet her. Dato says that she's glad to meet her. The girl remained silent. Nola says that it is her role to convey the guest's words. She apologizes for such inconvenience. Toru thought that it was to keep the leader's true identity from being revealed. It must be hard being the leader of a guild. They whisper and Nola says that on behalf of the head of the Thieves Guild for saving Nick, she expresses her sincere gratitude to them. As a result, they became enemies of the Mercenary Guild. Nola said that she wants them to join the guild as guests. She asks about their decisions. Ria said that they refused this offer. Dato asked the girl to be more respectful. Ria said that moreover, they were going to take Nick and his sister along with them. Nola said that it was her own opinion, but they should know that they are not forcing these children to join their guild. If they ask them personally, they will hear the same thing. Ria says she understands this, but these children have a right to live in safer conditions. Nola turns to Tor. She asks if he can promise to provide Nick and his sister, Marie, with a peaceful and safe place to grow up. Ria said that they promise, at least that place will be much better than this one. Toru asks to give him time to negotiate. Nola agrees. Toru approaches Ria and says that he thinks the orphanage she supports will treat the children well. The girl agrees. Ria asks Dato and says that maybe it's too much, but can she count on her support? Dato says that she has no choice. Toru asks Shizuka and she starts twitching. They smile. Toru turns and promises them. Nola smiles and nods. She says that the leader said that she would entrust the children to their group, but on one condition. The children would be accompanied by one of their guild members until they arrived at a safe place. Nola asks them not to worry and tells them, among other reasons, the presence of a member of their party will reduce the chance of other guilds causing them trouble. This will make their journey easier on many paths. Toru says that in that case they will inform them of the successful escort of Nick and Marie. Nola says that the leader is very grateful to them for that. They will be warmly welcomed next time. After a while, Nola says that she will call a guild member to accompany Nick and Marie. Toru then says that it was tense. Dato agreed. Toru thought that Miri had left and he wanted to see her one more time before they left. Then Nick and Marie showed up. Ria told them that they could rely on her. Miri comes up to them and says that she will go with them as their escort. Miri asks the boy what he is unhappy about. Toru says that everything is fine. Miri says that living underground has become rather boring, so she wants to go to the surface for a change. Toru is happy. Miri says that the leader said that she can show them a special exit from the Thieves Guild to the surface. It's the shortest way from here. Dato says that's really wonderful. Miri asks what the young man thinks of their leader. Toru replies that she is a beautiful person. Even if only her silhouette was visible, it was obvious that she was very beautiful. Miri agrees. Toru says that her form is also simply enormous. Miri pinches him. After a while, Toru says that they finally came to the ascent to the surface and he is a little excited. Miri asked if the boy doesn't go outside often. Toru said that he doesn't actually go outside for some reason. They climb the stairs and find a light and it seems like it's not far away. They reach the surface. Toru thought that this is what the other world looks like. He sees a city. Rhea says that the city is Heraklion. Since it is near the Yomi Labyrinth, it is also called Yomi City. The Adventurers Guild is also there. Rhea asks the boy how he likes their world. Unlike Toru's room, they don't have electricity or computers. Dado asks Rhea not to say that because they also have shops and many comforts in the city. Toru asks Shizuku what she thinks. Shizuku says that the air here is so clean and the sun is so bright and the villa is just incredibly beautiful and this world is the best. The girls smiled and decided to show Toru around and drag him to all the places in the city.